Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Fortnite fans from around the world, wherever you are watching from, welcome to the FNCS Invitational 2022, coming at you live from Raleigh, North Carolina. The Raleigh Convention Center is being packed right now. We got fans up in the building. We got the players on site. And not too long from now, we'll have some games. 6 games today, 6 tomorrow, all culminating in an FNCS Invitational Champion. We're in for it. I hope you guys are as excited as we are. Let me introduce you to our good friends that are joining us here on the analyst desk. It's none other than pro player turned analyst, Vivid.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Zeke. The stage is set. We have international players joining us here today. There's a lot on the line, and it makes me so excited for every single one of the 12 games we'll be watching.
And she's the best at everything. If you don't believe it, it's in her name. It's
good.
the best taco.
As much as I appreciate that, Zeke, the real best thing ever about today is the fact that the wait is finally over. We are finally here for the FNCS Invitational, and honestly, seeing how packed the venue already is, it's exhilarating.
That's right. The fans are ready. We are ready. But you know who else is ready? It's the players. Check this out. These are going to be some of the most exciting games you will see in all of Fortnite.
The last couple of years, I really missed in-person competitions.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get back into real-life competitions.
We're really hyped to play in-person events for like the first time since World Cup.
Me and Dukes are so excited, you know what I'm saying?
It's my first time being at a tournament on LAN.
LANs are just like the greatest vibes ever.
We've been playing with each other a lot, especially in the past like 2 weeks. Yeah, we've been working hard.
I mean, just so many incredible duos competing here today.
A lot of people sleep on SA. We're going to prove to the world why we're the best.
I think NA's just always been on top, like land-wise.
E eu acho que em questão de fight, o Brasil é o melhor servidor.
There's nothing to prove because everyone knows he's the best region. There's no discussion, there's no argument.
Winning the Invitational proves we're the best in the world because every region is here.
One of the key things that I miss from playing in-person events, honestly, is the crowd.
I'm really hyped, to be honest. It feels more real playing on stage than at home.
The best thing about in-person events is that you sit right next to your duo partner.
Everybody's watching you, and everybody's screaming and stuff. That's when you get like really nervous. Winning and just having like stuff like fireworks or something, it's just like crazy.
Winning would prove to myself that I'm one of the best in the world.
Winning the Invitational would really be an emotional moment for us.
It is officially here, FNCS, an incredible weekend of Fortnite action.
We're definitely here to go for the back-to-back title.
I'm confident fighting on my second one in the lobby.
He's pretty cracked.
If someone contests us on high ground, they definitely get eliminated.
100% our high ground.
Anybody who's ever contested us there is playing for bottom 40.
If you're thinking about contesting us, go for it. See what happens. Guys, come contest us. We're gonna win. Thank you for the 3 points.
Tem 14.
Vamos!
Let's go! We got this.
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 It doesn't get more hype than that. I'm doing my best to contain my excitement right now, and I'm having a real difficult time. Now, that's just a handful of players that we'll be seeing compete on this stage in just a little bit. But first, I'd love for you to give a big warm welcome to our main man. It's Adam Savage.
Thank you very much, Zeke. We're feeling good here on the show floor. Audience, North Carolina, let the world hear you scream. Feels good. Mwah. You guys are beautiful. Right now, joining me here is Takata. What a weekend of Fortnite action we are in for, my friend.
It's incredible. Adam, look, it has been years since we've had an international event of this caliber. 7 regions, 27 different countries, 50 of some of the best duos in the world are competing here today. A total prize pool of $1 million. I mean, words cannot even describe how excited I am.
We are so excited. One more time, North Carolina, let them hear you! Yes! Let's head back to Zeke, and we're excited here, buddy.
Just having this incredible player audience here, just roaring as we watch things unfold. Eliminations happen, right? Players walk out on the stages. We're going to the next level. and I can't wait. But first, let's focus in on the competition for just a moment. Let's talk about what's at stake. Now, for you fans that have followed us along the FNCS, this is pretty familiar, right, Vivid?
Yes, absolutely. As you can see here, we're going to be playing for placement as well as eliminations. Victory Royale has been worth that big chunk, 32 points, cascading all the way down to the 35th place, where, yeah, you only get 4 points, but make sure yourself you get into that threshold there, because outside of that, 36 through 50 will not be getting any points in the placement category, but every single elimination, Taco, oh so important. We see that make the difference at a lot of these FNCSs, 2 points for each of those.
You're gonna need those points to rack up because each of these players is fighting for their portion of the lion's share out of this $1 million prize pool. First place going to be bringing home $200,000 to start. Granted, 46 through 50, you're still walking away with something, but it's not just the literal prize money that's on the line here today for these duos.
That's right. For the first time, take a look at this absolutely stunning Swarovski trophy. That's right. Your duo that walks away as FNCS Invitational champions will be forever have a little nice little trophy they can sit in their room and say, yeah, that happened. That was, in fact, us. Vivid, I'm trying to contain myself, man. Are you excited? Are you as excited as I am right now?
It's hard to not bounce around.
It's really hard right now. I'm saying, you know, they stand still, Vivid. Listen, the crowd is going crazy. The competition hasn't even started yet. And yes, that trophy is oh so important. We have seen people raise these things up before, and those moments, they're still being replayed to this day, which makes these players want it oh so more.
And it's honestly just so exciting to think about the fact that by the end of this weekend, we are only going to get to see one duo lift up that beautiful Swarovski trophy.
So absolutely insane. You got a little taste of some of the players you got in the little introduction, but let me introduce you to a few more.
All right, so we're both always consistent, always placing in the top 10.
We're just going to play the same game that we always play.
Honestly, like, we're not really scared because we're the best players to touch the game.
I think we're due for a win.
We're due. We're literally due.
In total, we have 3 FNCS wins, and we're looking for a 4th.
We've won 2 FNCSs together.
I've won 2 FNCSs, both in trios.
I've won 6 FNCSs.
I've won World Cup and 3 FNCSs.
To become an FNCS champion, I think, 1, it takes a lot of grinding, a lot of viewing skill, and then 2, I think you're going to have to pull a decent amount of zones. You have to get a little bit lucky.
You have to be the best, you have to have talent. You can't just be hardworking.
Our 2 last grands, obviously, we definitely learned a lot, and we've been kind of trying to look at all of our games, look why we made the mistakes, and hopefully we win this time.
Yeah, I've been really consistent in FNCSs, but the last 2 have really been bad for me, so I'm here to not mess around and prove myself.
This season, we're going to be way more consistent at getting like top 3s, top 2, maybe winning games, and then that's going to help us get the extra points we need to get that top spot.
E tal, então eu acho que eu quero há muito tempo já ter essa experiência para ver se como que tá o nível do Brasil comparado com os outros servidores.
Yeah, so there's, you know, loads of FNCS champions, including him, but our plan is just to eliminate the people who, you know, are landing on us and eventually win the game.
In past FNCSs, we played too aggressive, and we will try to be more passive in this invitational.
The fact that there's a lot of good players makes it a better lobby. It makes it much easier than rather if it was more random and scattered. So I feel like we have a good playing field here.
You can't be nervous. You also got to be focused on the game. Can't really pay attention too much to your surroundings or, you know, what else is going on.
I think one thing that's also important that's like maybe slept on is just to be calm and like, you know, do your things and stay focused on ourselves and know everything that's happening around us and keep the communication good.
Obviously in FNCS, I got second 4 times now. I don't think I've ever come short of getting top 10. I think every time I qualify, I always make it.
Don't open your boxes too much, or you will get eliminated.
To the other duos, good luck, but we are 100% here to win the Invitational.
I've already won FNCS on 2 regions, so watch out for me because I'm going to win this one.
It's going to be really hard, but we're going to give it our best shot, and we're going to try to 12 over team contesting.
Oh yeah, we are going to wipe them.
They are going down.
Confidence. The confidence is unreal right now. You can just tell from those little tidbits that these players have never been more focused in their competitive careers than this moment. Everything is on the line. Now, we did get to see 2 members there, Queasy and Vino. I mean, heralds of EU, right? They're basically, Taco, they've been winning everything.
Queasy and Vino are entering this FNCS Invitational as an established threat. Despite the fact that they've both already achieved FNCS championship titles in Chapter 3, their recent successes with the Elite Cup weekly finals in Europe and North America East is a primary example of their unwavering work ethic. These guys are absolute grinders, and not only that, but they had a first place finish in week 4, first place finish in week 6, and remind you, that was the NA East and European weekly finals that they managed to bring home for themselves. So the results speak for themselves here. When you are able to have such dominating performances so closely synced together to an event like this, it's no wonder that they are a clear fan favorite to bring it all home, because this is a World Championship caliber duo, and I'm excited to see what they do this weekend.
Yeah, let's go ahead and readdress that fact that you said, winning both Elite Cups on the same exact day on NA East and EU. Right now, this lobby is 75% EU plus NA East, which means that they have proven already that they can pretty much beat 75% of this lobby. The confidence has to be through the roof.
You know, I feel we can't not mention them, Vivid. A duo that I think many people are very excited to see compete here in person. It's Bugha and it's Miro.
Representing the home region here, NA East, representing Sentinels, representing Dignitas, in my opinion, the most titled duo here at the event. Let's talk about it. Bugha, solo World Cup champion. It's what he is known for. But because that is such a huge accomplishment, it almost always gets pushed on the rug that right now, in the past 5 FNCSs, he's gotten top 3 in every single one of them, with 3 of them being wins. But that's not all. Those 3 wins, back to back to back.
It's an absolutely disgusting stat line when you really think about it. And he's not the only one. You have to keep in mind his duo partner, Miro. He has also been the NA East individual leader for eliminations for 3 out of the last 6 FNCS finals. That statistic alone showcases the fact that I think this NA East duo is certainly going to pack a pretty vicious punch for the rest of these regions.
Well, that's right. And we have a very special treat for you fans here. And of course, viewers at home, guess what? Kelly Link is standing by with Bugha and Miro.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Joining me right here, I got Miro and Bugha for a quick interview. Bugha, it's been 3 long years since your iconic World Cup win. What is it like to finally be back on stage in front of all of these people playing?
I'm super excited. I mean, it's super cool to be back in in-person events, and hope they bring more in the future, of course, but yeah, just hoping for the best, honestly.
Yeah, of course. And Miro, talking about the game, of course, you guys are not only uncontested, but it also seems like there's not too many teams around you on the south side. What are your plans to handle Storm Surge?
I mean, as of right now, we're uncontested. We'll see what happens. We're going to try not to leak too many strats, but I think we'll be okay.
I love it. The confidence coming in from these 2 guys right here. Make some noise for Bugha and Miro, and let's head on back to the desk.
That's right. Yeah. Fans, you guys can make some noise. That's okay. You want to be cheering on this duo, right? They got me. They got me. They're still waking up. It's all good. Now, we have to talk about more of the duos we're going to be seeing compete today. Is there another maybe duo that you have eyes on right now?
Well, that's the beautiful part about the FNCS Invitational, is that we do have that international representation. And Alex and Bailey are a must-mention from Oceania, because they have had an absolutely phenomenal Chapter 3 performance so far. They've only been getting better with each season of Chapter 3. They started out with 3rd place in Season 1, then 2nd place Season 2. So guess what Season 1 was? That's right. They were the FNCS champions of the most recent season coming into this FNCS Invitational. And their dedication to the grind did not stop there either, because they have been absolutely dominating in Cash Cup performances as well. Alex even, I believe, tweeting at one point, 10 first place finishes in those Cash Cups alone. So the consistency is definitely there for this duo.
The thing that I love is the confidence, right here alone. Bailey's name in game, Bailey on height. Man, I wonder how he's going to be playing today, going for the higher gun. Honestly, listen, the great thing about being here in person is that I am actually able to go into the practice room, kind of stand behind some of these players. And last night I did just that with Alex and Bailey, and they won the scrim game that I was watching, and they just look so good. Alex's aim, holy moly.
We have to talk about another threat here in the competition. A 6-time FNCS champion coming from NA West. It's Epic Whale, and he's going to be paired up with Reet. If you've watched FNCS broadcasts, you know these guys are literal sharks.
Yeah, the 6X, the only one in the world, the individual player who has the most FNCS wins right there. It is none other than Epic Whale. But it doesn't just stop there. 3rd place at World Cup, and then of course winning the most recent international event as well. He is on an absolute tear right now, and he always looks so good. But the thing that I love about Epic Whale is that he is able to adapt to almost any situation. So much so that one season he even transitioned to controller. Of course, now he is back on that keyboard and mouse, but showing that he is so versatile is what is important to me.
My favorite part about this duo as well is that collectively they have 8 FNCS championship titles to their name, which actually ties them for 1st place with Bugha and Miro of all duos. So this could be an excellent opportunity here for Epic Whale and Reed to establish once and for all who really has the most championship titles to their name.
You love to see it. Now, listen, fans in the audience, I need you guys to make some noise because Kelly is standing by right now with Epic Whale and Reed.
Thank you once again, Zeke, and you are right. I have Epic Whale and Reed joining me for another quick interview. Epic Whale, everyone knows that the 6X in your name stands for how many FNCS titles you currently hold. What has the preparation been like so that you turn that into 7X?
Yeah, just a lot of VOD reviewing with our coach and like watching our own games back, watching other players from other regions, and just always improving like from the Elite Cups and stuff.
Right, I love it. And Reed, you're known to be aggressive from time to time. Are we going to be seeing that classic Reed aggression today?
Yeah, we're going for 20 bombs every game.
Love it. That's what I want to see. I'm going to hold you to that 20 bomb, everyone. Let's head on back to the desk.
Oh boy. Reed, you can't just be saying that, man. I'm looking for a 20 bomb. We'll see how that all unfolds. Well, that's just a sneak peek at some of the competitors. Let's see how others feel about the competition.
Anything could happen, like it's a tight matchup. They're both really good teams.
A lot of people think they're one of NA's best teams. I think they're pretty down here, actually.
We're going to get out there and go in and clean it up every game.
This is going to be crazy.
So at Cloudy Condos, we got Aqua, Reason, we have Mersash Malabuka, and then we have Tayson and Chapix. So obviously those 3 teams are like a lot of people's favorites to win it.
Cloudy Condos is pretty highly contested. I mean, it's edge map, you know, easy dead side rotates. It looks pretty strong. Definitely Aqua or Reason are going to take at least one game, you know. They're high ground kings.
It really depends on like who is gonna like land on the one side alone and third way the other team.
We've heard some rumors that Merstash and Malabuka are contesting us. We don't know if it's true, but if it is, we're ready. Just come.
I think Malabuka and Mersash are kind of playing like the 3rd man out, and it's mainly Tayson and Chapix fighting.
Malabuka and Mersash are insane fighters.
It's gonna be a very fun contest.
At Genesis, we have Pink and Anas versus Clicks and Dukes. I think there's not enough loot for 2 teams, so I think they're definitely going to fight each other.
I think Pink and Anas will come out on top most games.
If it comes down to like a just straight up 2v2 fight where they both have loot, then I think Clicks and like, because obviously Clicks and Dukes, they're definitely better
good
fighters.
fighters.
They're way better fighters than Pink.
I don't know about way better.
They're way better fighters than Pink. And
Maybe a
Anas.
little better.
Although I think Pink is gonna come out on top, we're gonna see if Clicks is able to surprise us. With Joneses, if you want to have good loot, you really have to win it, so you have to be prepared to beat your opponent.
There's like 2 sides of Joneses.
They will split.
Yeah, they might split it.
I think if we fight Anas or Clicks, not gonna do good with Joneses. They can come to Breezy, that's fine, but not like Joneses, not good.
Then over at Groom Gables, we have Muzz and Looter conning Smite and Larson. And this fight's interesting. I think obviously since there's the hill and then there's also just down below, I don't think there's any world where these 2 teams fight unless it's like in the last game, as both of them needing points, you know?
I don't know if the hill's
The
enough
North
loot.
Cloudy Mountain's plenty of loot. People do that. They do that all the
Maybe,
time.
I don't know, maybe.
If they wanna come out on top and do well in the tournament, I think that they have to like not take the fight, but try to gain ground because it has really good, strong points around it.
I've played with Luda before, and he's crazy.
I honestly think it could be a 50-50. The POI is kind of just like one house.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. We're almost there. Now, we've had a chance to kind of talk about the outside looking in. Let's actually talk about the game itself.
Yeah.
We have to talk about some of these POIs, man, because it's looking like it's gonna be messy.
There's going to be a lot of action going on in the early game, and here's where you can find most of them. Of course, Grim Gable is going to be tested. Tilted Towers, I don't know what's going on over there. A whole party. Looks like 5 duos are wanting to fight for that, but then Cloudy Condos, here we go. 3 duos landing there. Taco, all of them being EU.
And not just any EU duos. You're looking at Tayson and Chapix, Aqua and Reason, as well as Murstache and Malabuka. 3 European duos that could arguably walk away here, either champions of this FNCS Invitational or in the top 5 at the very least. But the fact that they're all contesting each other is the most incredible aspect here, Vivid, especially when you factor in that you've got Tayson and Chapix who love playing the high ground, going up against the original high ground king of EU with Aqua.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's pretty much 2 ways that this kind of POA can work out, right? They can kind of split their loot and be happy with it, but that's not really advantageous, right? There's so much loot there that you want for yourself. Now let's talk about the other option, which actually happened in the Elite Cup just a week ago, where Malabuka and Murstache got 2nd place from this exact same situation. Basically what was going down was Tayson and Chapix were basically just straight up 50-50 in Aqua and Reason on the south side, and then Malabuka and Murstache were just running right in afterwards, cleaning up, and walked away again with that 2nd place in that Elite Cup.
And you know what's coming now, right? That's right, it's an interview, but this time we've got our in-game analyst, Mini Miner, standing by. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Now, I couldn't be more excited to be alongside 2 titans of the European region. We've got Tayson and Malabuka alongside me here. This is exciting. Tayson, to kick things off, you are one of the online GOATs. You are considered as one of the best players online. How can you transfer that into this in-person experience today?
I think it's really important to get used to it for the next LAN events. Online is not as, LAN is not as comfortable as home, of course, but need to get used to it to prepare for next and do our best.
Of course. Now, Malabuka, you guys are known as one of the best fighters in the European region. Are you guys confident in fighting off spawn against the likes of Tayson and Chapix?
Yes, I think we have a very aggressive playstyle, and that's why it's very easy for us to eliminate other players. And I don't think off-spawn will be hard for us.
Of course, and it works as well. You guys have a 78% success rate off spawn. Does that fill you with more confidence going into it, or do you think, like, this is going to be a tough fight?
I'm sure we will have 12 games. We will go out from our off-spawn, and we won't die even once.
That's good to hear. Now, Zeke, I want to hear more about the next head-to-head.
Man, these players are stone cold eliminators, baby. I am ready for all of this action. Let's talk about another duo, another head-to-head matchup we have to break down. But I think for me, the key kind of takeaway and thing to consider is there's 7 regions being represented here on this invitational stage, right? So not only am I thinking, what's my meta at home? Wait, what's their meta at home? Oh, I have to fight against that? Good luck me.
Yeah, over at Grim Gables, a little bit of a different situation than Cloudy Condos or Tilted Towers, given that it's just a head-to-head standoff between Smite, Larson, and Muzz with Looter. But I really am curious to see how this actually pans out, because we are getting a little bit of that international region spice, battle of the regions there with NA East and Oshi. But to be fair to Muzz, he has actually been in NA East along with Looter, competing in all of these Elite Cup weekly finals, trying to get as much experience as possible. I think it's going to be a really exciting matchup for them. And when you factor in that Muzz most recently, with the Chapter 3 Season 2 top 10 finish, came in 8th place, I believe, although at the time he was doing with Avery, not to mention his partner Looter while he was competing in Oceania, he still nearly closed out a match point trigger with a 518-point finish there in Season 2 as well for Chapter 3.
And then, of course, Muzz being the only player actually to win an FNCS on multiple regions. He did it on OCE and NA East as well. But that's not to talk down on Larson and Smite. They do so well in these all-spawn situations. They come up with such unique strategies. Throwback to Season 1 of Chapter 3, where even the likes of Cold and Sentin were having trouble against them because of the strategies they were coming up with. So that's what I'm excited to look forward to today. What did they prepare for Muzz and Looter?
Caliber player is just absolutely insane. For just a moment, I do want to touch on that Tilted Tower situation. Why do we have 5 duos all landing at Tilted Towers?
But one of them is Favs and Snacky. And one of my favorite parts about this is that throughout the entirety of Chapter 3, there were 36 finals games played, right?
Okay.
Favs and Snacky only went 2 out of those 36 games without receiving any actual elims. So with 4 other duos, there to contest at Tilted Towers, it's not just a prime opportunity for them to keep boosting that stat metric, but it also kind of indicates the fact that whether or not they're the ones walking away from Tilted Towers by the end of it all, they're taking somebody else with them.
So absolutely insane. Now, guess what? Another interview coming your way. Mini Miner, what you got?
I've got two incredible players right next to me. We've got Luther, we've got Smite, and oh boy, am I excited yet again, as always. Now, Luther, I'll kick things off with you. You've played on both OCE and NA East, right? How do the regions differ, and how are you going to use that experience today?
Well, there is a big difference, that's for sure. I definitely think OCE is obviously easier, and NA has a different skill set, but I made sure to come a month early so I could learn the lobbies as much as I could to do as good as I can over these next 2 days.
That's great to hear, man. Now, of course, Smite, you had your best FNCS performance in Chapter 3 Season 1. You had a third, and in that season, you were uncontested. How are you going to approach the challenge of being contested today?
Well, when you're uncon, you obviously have the advantage of leaving with fully stacked loot, and you can fully focus on Surge. But when you're fighting a team off spawn, you have that advantage of also leaving with Storm Surge right off the bat. Yeah. So it's also an advantage at the same time.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We'll see what happens.
Two ways to look at it. Now, just quickly, we'll ask you guys, what do you think the score's going to be off spawn? The all-important question.
Okay, realistically, I want a 12-0, nice and clean, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's unrealistic. I think it's going to be more like 8-4, 9-3, something like that.
Okay, Smite, just quickly.
I'm thinking a full 12-0 right here.
12-0. They both think they're going to win off spawn. Unbelievable. Best of luck to you both, though.
Thank you so much, Mini Miner. My goodness. We've had a chance to hear from some of the players, talk about the game. I want to just take a quick moment here to introduce you to our casters for the event. It is Monster D-Face and Jacob PR.
That's right. Thank you so much, Zeke. We do have the pleasure, the honor of calling all the action this weekend, and my gosh, the energy is already starting to, you really feel it.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And for myself, man, watching you cast the World Cup, now being here with you, this is a dream come true. And then getting to cast this global competition, insane.
Right. And that is what we have in store for us, of course. It's an amazing competition. What a special moment, not only for the competitors, but all of you who get to tune in here and watch this return to an in-person event. It couldn't be better. And already you see the content, like the real interview pieces where we get to read the players, read the room.
Yep.
There's a lot of contested, there's a lot of fights that are going to play out.
Yeah, and like I'm saying, and it said it kind of before earlier today, speaking in the back, that these players, they're really good friends. They like to sit in the same Discord, they talk, they play Fortnite together all the time. But when that battle bus starts, Monster, they're no longer friends. They're looking at each other like they're the enemy.
Yeah, definitely. You see the Pink and a Nas battle, or Pink versus Clix,
Yeah.
you know, engagement that might be going down there as well. So that's us. We're going to be calling all types of action this weekend. Zeke, thanks for checking in with us.
Hey, thank you so much. My goodness, we are not that far from kicking off the competition. I just want to get your guys' kind of quick thoughts here as we prepare. What are expectations coming into just the first 6 games of the FNCS Invitational?
I straight up expect the crowd to be loud. We already heard when some of those interviewee names are called, the crowd was going crazy. When the action really starts to kick off, I want these players to fuel themselves with the energy from the crowd and really just take home a real solid, clean game number 1. But then also, you know, if it's not a good game number 1, use that in game number 2 as experience.
Exactly, and I think that this in-person event is a really important experience for a lot of the duos competing here today, but I'm super excited to see what happens with some of our international regions, because we do have so many duos that are actually going uncontested, and one that immediately comes to mind, Runa and Peppa, for example. They've got all of Lustrous Lagoon to themselves, and with that much available loot and resources, I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to kind of kick it up higher in the leaderboards than what some people might be expecting.
That's right, and some of these duos, man, this is their first time in a setting like this, right? To have an amazing crowd like all of you here in person. So make sure you guys are just screaming your heads off. It is almost that time to start the show. So for now, let's go on over to Adam and Kelly.
Yes, Zeke, it is getting very close now. This is it. Audience, North Carolina, are you ready for this? So excited, Kelly. We're so close now to the beginning of the FNCS Invitational.
And I cannot wait for what we are about to show everyone. But guys, we know what you're here for. You're here for the games. You're here for the players. So in just 5 seconds, I'm going to need your help for the countdown, everyone. All right? Join me. 10, 9, 10.
2022, live here in Raleigh, North Carolina! We are here live to the world for this beautiful live audience. My name is Adam Savage.
And I am Kelly Link. We will be your hosts over the next 2 days. And in those 2 days, you guys will witness 12 incredible games of Fortnite. 50 of the best duos around the world, representing 7 regions, will not just be duking it out for the $1 million prize pool. They won't just be fighting for the pride and prestige. They're going to be fighting for that trophy right there.
Can we get an ooh? Very good. I'm getting goosebumps here, Kelly. We've set the scene here for you guys. We've had a chance to talk to the broadcast team. We've seen you guys in the audience looking amazing. But now, are you ready to meet the stars of this show? It's time to meet the players!
Epic whirlwind, read everyone. Domination is the key word here. With multiple FNCS championships under their belt, the Grand Royale win, the World Cup experience, this team could take it all.
Give it up for Fabs and Snacky as 3-time FNCS champions of the NA West region. This duo is here, and they are not playing around.
Welcome to PSN and Quintos, coming in all the way from the Brazilian region with a total of 5 share of FNCS titles. They are now ready to prove to themselves and the world.
Put your hands together for Janice and Vadil, champions of Fortnite Champion Series Chapter 3, Season 3 Europe. They are the German powerhouses.
Queasy and Vino, folks, mixing it up with the FNCS champion of Chapter 3, Season 1 and Season 2. These guys are not to be messed around with. Watch out.
This is Rapid and Andalex, a duo formed specifically for this event. French powerhouse paired together with a Middle Eastern player. This one is going to be interesting.
Let's put your hands together for Basil and Jace, the champions of FNCS Chapter 3 Season 1 OCE. This is their moment to prove what they can do.
Stand up and get loud for Pink and Anaz from top-tier performances in several tournaments, including the latest third-party event. Now they are here in Raleigh to do it again.
If you say Poland, I say Cami and Seti. The absolutely dominating duo. They are ready to compete for the FNCS Invitational title and become legends.
Let's hear it for Aqua and Reason, a duo World Cup teaming up with an iconic and highly competitive German juggernaut. This can only go well.
I cannot believe with just 10 players coming out, the Raleigh Convention Center are absolutely losing their minds. I hope you guys have enough in the tank until we got another 40 duos, so please don't pass out. That was just the first 10. What are thoughts?
We're stacked. We are stacked. I haven't even seen the rest of the We're stacked. We're stacked, right? Snacky and Faz being one of those dominant duos being showcased right there in one of our first 10 to present. Listen, they're on a hot streak right now. Coming out of the NA West region, back-to-back FNCS wins in Season 1 and Season 2 of this chapter, followed by a 3rd place as well.
But you can't forget about Pink and Anaz either. This European powerhouse, I think, is going to be absolutely one to keep an eye out for, and I'm really excited to see them clash out over in Fort Jonesy with Clicks and Dukes.
Of course, he's got the pink hair too, so he's easy to recognize.
Easy to recognize. Now that was just the 10. Let's welcome the next 10. Give it up for iDrop and Mr. Savage, a true Fortnite right, OG teaming up with this highly competitive Norwegian teammate. This is not a drill, everyone. Let's go.
A team that needs no introduction, Clix and Duke, climbing their way up the ranks, fourth in the most recent NA East FNCS. They won the first Elite Cup of their region, and they're ready to take on the international stage.
This is cold and scented. These guys are like bread and butter, best together when placing in end games, finishing both second and fifth in the most recent 2 FNCSs.
Make some noise for Runa and Beppo. The Japanese powerhouse are here to rock our world. With several FNCS titles in the bag, they might just make it happen again.
Put your hands together for Noah Riley and Bad Sniper. This newly formed duo for this event have both World Cup, Cash Cup, and FNCS experience under the belts. I mean, this can become dangerous.
Give it up for Threats and Alice. The combination of Asia and NA East is going to be super exciting to see as this newly formed duo will take on the competition.
The WKers have arrived. Malabuka and Mustache, one of the most aggressive duos of the EU region. They have always consistently come out with the most limbs, and this weekend, it should be no different.
Put your hands together for Trulex and Chicho, long-standing duo featuring a former trio FNCS champion. They're ready to prove their worth to the world of Fortnite.
Let's welcome Bailey and Alex. Third, second, first is how this duo has placed on the Oceania region, and now they must be absolutely ready for the big stage.
Give it up for Pablo Wingu and Swag. Now this is what you get when you mix raw talent with maturity and experience. This is a flaming hot duo.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing out there? I'm joined right now by Clix and Duke. Make some noise! All right, Clix, my friend, out here in front of a live audience, you've experienced World Cup before. How great is you back here in front of all these amazing people?
You know, after 2 years, it's finally a pleasure to, be at another LAN event, seeing the crowd, different atmosphere, so hopefully we do good.
Absolutely, and Duke as well, I'm going to ask you, quite new to in-person events, but being here, this experience so far, being around the players, the audience, how are you feeling going into this?
I'm feeling great. It's like, the experience is insane. I'm loving it.
You're absolutely loving it. Are you guys loving it too? All right, Clix and Duke, thank you so much, guys. And let's head over to Kelly and see who she's with.
From one Savage to another, I am joined by Mr. Savage and iDrop here. Now, iDrop, I know that you guys are going to be contested on drop. Are you planning on flat fighting or splitting?
100% fighting. I've had it Uncon for 12 months on the best region, so we're definitely fighting.
I love it. Mr. Savage, I heard that it's your birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Everyone, on 3, can we give Mr. Savage a big happy birthday? 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, good luck in game number 1, and let's head on to the next 10 players.
Please welcome Cloud and Refsguard. With the powerhouse performance in Chapter 3, Season 1, this consistent teammate he has picked up these last couple of chapters, they can take it all the way.
Let me give you Mixon and Otto, a fairly new performing duo coming out strong together. With a 7th place finish in the most recent EU FNCS, they could take it all the way.
And a big welcome to Pars and Rays. With a great start to Chapter 3, these guys have taken home both 2nd and 6th in 2 FNCSs this chapter. Now it is time to see them here at the Invitational.
Put your hands together for Belusi and Hijo. A lot of FNCS experience coming out of these guys, and that will be needed this weekend in order to take home the prize.
Vico and
combination of a young and talented player and an even more experienced player side by side. This can only go well for this European duo.
One and Baka, everyone. A duo showcasing their skills last season of the NA West region. With a second place finish in FNCS, they're here to take home the glory.
Let's hear it for Watson Robov, a very talented, promising, up-and-coming young duo. These guys have been performing so solid lately. Can they keep it going?
Rose and Rifty, one of the newer yet well-performing duos in this lobby. With his 6th place finish and his first FNCS, these guys came to take on a challenge.
And a big welcome to NA East, Larson and Smite, a well-performing Chapter 3 duo. They are here and ready to compete on the big stage amongst the best of the best.
Put your hands together for Falconer and Hellfire, an NA West OG, teaming up with an aggressive style European player. Now it's time to find out if it pays off.
"30 duos." You can already tell this is gonna be some of the craziest Fortnite we have possibly ever seen. 7 regions being represented on this stage right now. Clown and Refsguard, the first duo to walk out though. I mean, some of the more notable players in EU.
They're definitely a fun duo to follow along with. Although it's only their 3rd FNCS actually competing together, I think that it's interesting to note that they both, as individuals, respectively, had top 10 finishes in past FNCS finals. So they definitely have what it takes to place high up in the leaderboards. But what I want to see them do as a duo, more specifically, is kind of take that to the next level. You've made top 10 before, but let's see you actually win it all.
Whew, there you go, win it all. Tall task, especially seeing these 30 duos that have walked out already.
That's right, man. Well, Vivid, guess what? We got another 10 for you. So, Raleigh, make some noise!
Put your hands together for Peterbot and Jamper. The individual skill is so high in this duo, and despite being new as a duo, they're boasting FNCS and Cash Cup title wins.
Make some noise for Pamstu and Fats, the French-Canadian duo with a tight bond. Back from Grand Royale and the most recent NA East FNCS as 3rd, they are here to take it all.
KBR and Z-Folks, the regional FNCS champions of Brazil Chapter 3 Season 2, and now they are here and ready to compete on the international stage.
Let's give a warm welcome to Bevy and Vortexers, a duo fresh out of the lobby. With only one FNCS together as teammates, they're now ready to give it their all here in Raleigh.
And a big welcome to Retake and Novice, the most recent FNCS champions of Chapter 3 Season 3 as well. They are here now ready for the FNCS Invitational.
Give it up for Scram and Chimp, combining the powers of EU and NA East. These guys have great potential in front of them. They could go all the way.
Put your hands together for Zaku and Marine, the most recent FNCS champions of Asia. They have put their mark on their region, and now they are ready to defend the title as champions.
A huge welcome to Ju and Yusri. Great potential in this duo here, and fairly recently teaming up together. Their journey begins now, and what a journey it's gonna be.
This is Z, Andy, and Joe FN, everybody. Several FNCS final performances, and most recently 4th in EU's FNCS. Now, they are ready to take home the big prize.
It's Cool and Yumi with a stunning performance winning the NA West Chapter 3 Season 3 FNCS. We cannot count these guys out, and will they do it here as well?
players down. 10 more to go here, but before we can get to that 10, I have a special interview with Swearin. And Swearin, just being here in front of all these people with this big, beautiful stage, what are you feeling?
I feel really great. Like, this is so cool. I mean, Raleigh showed up, Fortnite community showed up, players showed up, like, everyone's excited. I don't know, I'm hyped for this. Like, it's so awesome.
I'm super hyped as well, and I know that you recently ran a tournament where it was just all Goo Guns. Obviously, thankfully, we're not going to be seeing any Goo Guns today, but what do you hope to see?
Okay, real quick, I didn't run that. That was Beach Cobbler. I played in it, did really bad. I'm really excited to see people just like push for high ground and like just do like really exciting plays and stuff. I'm excited to see people like 1v2 and clutch up and just like all those classic like Fortnite LAN moments. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be so awesome.
I cannot wait as well, and I believe, everyone, that we have 10 more players to introduce. So let's head on over to Jacob and MDF.
This is King and Ed Lagana, telling you duo, but there are no new names here. From the World Cup all the way to the Invitational stage, these guys are the biggest threat to the lobby.
Please welcome Focus and Spy with progression throughout each and every FNCS with a third place finish in the most recent Middle Eastern FNCS. These guys are ready to compete.
It is Thomas HD and Tripburn, folks. Two words: dangerous and dominating, as these two are extremely experienced and they must be ready to win this weekend here in North Carolina.
A huge welcome to Macwood and Kanata. Reunited has never felt so good. These guys are looking to pick up where they left off and take home the prize.
Let's hear it for Acorn and Edgy. Consistently great performances throughout their careers. They are here to continue that trend. And AE, show them some love.
Hen and Vortex, everyone. An incredible duo coming out hot with tons of experience and a few FNCS champions up to the belt, and they're looking to add one more.
Let's give a big welcome to Commandment and Avery, your Chapter 3, Season 3, NA East FNCS winners with one of the closest endgames we have ever seen in a finals. It's time!
A duo that needs no introduction. Tayson and Chapix combined 6 FNCS titles, countless Cash Cup wins, and now they're ready to take on the global competition.
Let's give it up for Muzz and Looter, multi-regional FNCS winners, previous champions of OCE's FNCS as well. Listen, these guys have got it all.
And finally, let's hear it for Booga and Miro, our solo World Cup champion with his multiple FNCS winning duo partner. These guys are looking to cement their legacy.
Let's freaking go! Look at this insane roster of duos that will be competing on the FNCS Invitational stage. I'm gonna pass out. Listen, I'm gonna pass out.
Please do not pass out, Zeke. Listen, 50 of the duos now set on stage, and one of them is standing out to me. And I know it's standing out to another part of the crowd right up there. King and Ed, making a big name for himself at World Cup, of course, being the most aggressive player there. He stole the hearts of all the fans, and I'm hoping that he kind of redoes that performance here at the Invitational.
And his flexibility as a player, I think, is only going to pair so nicely with Ed. Despite the fact this is their first time competing together for this FNCS Invitational, I think that it's awesome that he came in 5th at the solos for World Cup, but he also had a duos placement there as well. So it's a quick indicator that Brazil can definitely represent.
That's right. I just want to throw some stats at you guys at home. If maybe this hasn't quite set in, you don't understand how insane this is. 15 FNCSs, 105 FNCS events across 7 regions, 88 FNCS championship titles on that stage, 47 FNCS champions on that stage, 27 countries all represented on that stage. And guess what? We're ready to kick off the competition. Adam, let's do this.
Yes, indeed. Can we get a huge round of applause for Thomas HD and Trippin? Thomas, it's 10 top 10 FNCS finals for you. You must be feeling very confident coming into this competition.
Yeah, I'm really excited to play. It's gonna be a long time since like the last LAN event, and I can't wait to compete. Hopefully, a good placement.
Well, I'm sure it will be great. I mean, Trippin as well. This is your third FNCS finals together. Is it third time lucky for you, fellas?
Yeah, hope so. I'm excited to play, and yeah, I'm playing with Thomas, so can't go bad.
All right, give him a big round of applause, please, folks! Best of luck, fellas. But we also, whilst up here as well, must chat to the reigning NAE champions as well. Give it up for Kamarman and Avery! Avery, my man. This is an incredible opportunity and experience. Obviously, playing in front of a live audience as well. How hyped are you guys as a duo right now?
Well, this is my first LAN. It's an honor, honestly, to be here. Like, it's just unbelievable.
You guys are unbelievable! We've also got as well, to talk about obviously last season's win. 1 point separated you guys from first and second place, which is Bugha and Miro. How are you going to try and retain that title this weekend? What do you have to do right?
We're just going to try to play our game, be consistent, and hopefully we can take it home.
Do you think they can take it home, folks? Yeah? They seem confident. Thank you very much. Come on, Avery. Back to you, Zeke.
Thank you so much. We are drawing ever closer to starting this competition, kicking off and jumping out of that battle bus. We have to highlight a few more duels for you. I wanted to start pretty easy here, right? Janus and Vidil. I mean, EU fans, you guys already know what these guys are capable of. And here's just a handful of stats. You know, these stats don't look that crazy vivid.
Are you sure, Zeke? Because I don't think we're looking at the same stats if you don't think those look crazy. This is from the Elite Finals EU Week 6. Total point 310, 25 eliminated. That's just over the course of those 6 games, of course. And listen, if they're putting on performance like that from game to game, I can't wait to see what they can do at the Invitational.
And it's so exciting to finally get a chance to see them compete on that international space because we are looking as well at the European FNCS champions from Chapter 3 Season 3. That's Janus and Vidil. They are a dynamic duo. They don't want to mess around. Even at one of the intro videos that we saw, what was the first thing that Vidil said? You want to contest us? That's fine. 3 points for us.
The confidence. Listen, I love the confidence out of everybody. Also, you know, shout out to Trippin, right? Because like his interview went, yeah, I'm playing with Thomas. We're going to do great. Like it literally can't go bad. That is a lot of trust in your duo right there. Love that.
You love to see it. Talking about Vidil and Janus, they're currently uncontested at Greasy Grove. What does this mean for this duo? Having a POI uncontested that literally 6 other regions and even your own said, no, you can have that. That's fine.
Listen, this is how it goes, okay? You pretty much get to play all 12 games, right? But because you aren't contested +1, you aren't finding any of those early fights. So you have to go forcefully find some of these fights, and they can be very, very hard when the pressure's on, the nerves are kicking in, the audience is cheering on the stage. You know, you're thinking about it, man, do I really want to go take that fight? Do I really want to go get that Storm Surge? So they have to be confident in those routes, those strategies that they have set.
It's the audience aspect that I'm really curious to see how it impacts a lot of these duos, not just Janus and Vidil, because it's one thing to play from the comfort of your home. It's another entirely to be in front of a live audience where when you got the cheers going behind you, you never know where that momentum might actually influence you to go next. I wouldn't be surprised for some of these players to really have to hone in on a lot of that mental discipline to not let themselves get distracted by any of the flashing lights or the noise. Just stick to what they know.
That's right. Let's talk about another duo, Clix and Duke. We actually got to hear from them via Adam. I mean, look, their crowd's already going absolutely ham. Clix fans, rise up. What can we expect from this duo?
Listen, I'm excited, right? Because Clix has been improving from season to season, day to day as an IGL, teaming up with Duke, of course, who is very, very good mechanically. You know, I saw him in the practice room, always grinding the creative, always willing to take on pretty much anybody in that room who wanted to give a shot at seeing if they could take him down.
And it's impressive how well Clix has managed to simultaneously totter between this pro player aspect as well as the heavy side of content creation. I think that it is not very easy to maintain both of those lifestyles. And not only that, but when you have to be as experienced as Duke right next to you, I can understand where the trust comes from this duo. And knowing that they're against Pinkett and Nas, potentially at Fort Jonesy, I do believe we heard them mentioning, though, a possibility of just splitting at the start.
Well, listen, I love the fact that you mentioned content, right? Because, listen, you know, he's used to that, right? He wants the reactions. He posts that content to get reactions. And here, what other better place to get reactions than from a live crowd? So maybe he'll just straight up embrace it, and it'll fuel him.
That's right. I have to highlight this duo, man. Your FNCS Asia champions who are competing on this stage. There they are, Zagu and Meram. Remember, these are FNCS champions. They literally just won the FNCS that passed, and now we will see them compete. When we look at the stats, man, I'm pretty worried for everybody else.
Listen, we were just talking about, you know, Vadil and Janice, who coming into this event are a lot of people's favorites, right? But right there, they had 310 points in one of those Elite Cups. Right there, I saw them have 344. There's a little bit of competition going on there. And as you can see from the camera shot, I love it, the preparation. They literally have printed out sheets of spots on the map, things that can help them out in this competition, anything to give them the edge.
And from the moment that we saw just how much energy they were actually bringing with them on their initial walkout, to the point of them sitting down here now, their faces do not indicate any sort of nervousness. They could very well be a big part of the bamboozlement to take place here with the international flavor.
I mean, they're up against Commandment and Avery, right? I feel like this could go really well for one of these duels. It could be really messy. I mean, what do you think, Vivid?
Over at the Rave Cave. Listen, I think, you know, ultimately Commandment and Avery are going to be comfortable over there, right? They did win an FNCS from this POI, and of course, you know, Zygu is landing on the outskirts of that. So I don't even know if they're going to take any of those early fights. But again, as the game develops, if they start to struggle on Storm Surge in the later parts of the game, they might want to start taking that early fight.
But there is usually enough space surrounding Rave Cave for duos to not necessarily have to look for those early engagements if they don't want to. And you also have to keep in mind that they're not the only ones that are going to be landing there. There's also going to be Thomas HD and Tripper. That is a notorious favorite spot for them to go, is that south side of the Rave Cave. So curious to see where exactly these zones wind up actually taking these players and how their encounters might actually shape up.
That's right. There is a duo here that is quite terrifying. You know, out of Brazil, not a big deal. The fans of them are up here in the audience. It's King and Ed. I mean, the crazy thing is, King is one of the most winningest player. I mean, the crowd's already going crazy.
There it is.
One of the most winningest, one of the single-handedly craziest mechanical players you will ever see in your life. But when you pair it up with just stopping power, which he also has by himself, he is a one-man army.
Yeah. Listen, of course, King representing FaZe, and shout out and congratulations to Ed. Recently, just days before the event, signing the Team Liquid. Amazing opportunity there. You can see him dripped out in the jersey, showing it off here at the Invitational. And what I love most about this is that, you know, again, we're here in person, right? So we can go into the practice room. We can kind of see what's going on. King and Ed, 2v2 matches almost day and night, in and out. And listen, they were dominating players from every single region.
But the sheer presence that you have as an international player, and I'm speaking about King here, because the fact that he actually has audience members with signs of his name at an NA-based venue, that alone speaks volumes for the kind of impact that he has had on the Fortnite scene.
These guys are uncontested. We already know what this means for everybody else. It means they're going to get a free pass into the mid-game. If they are allowed this opportunity, what the heck is everybody else going to look to do to try and stop them?
Nothing. 12 games of pure aggression from King, and that's what it means. Just straight up, nothing else.
And also, just a really quick note there about Ed. He has been steadily improving with each of his performances throughout the entirety of Chapter 3. So if the momentum kind of keeps going in that direction, again, I don't think that international gameplay is going to disappoint by any means. These guys are amped up. They are ready to showcase their representation for their regions.
That's right. We want to come on over back to NA. We got to talk about Fams and Snacky, an iconic duo, to say the least.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. That's pretty right.
Only, you know, 2 FNCS wins just this chapter, followed by a 3rd place, all that, you know, and the aggression from Tilted Towers. I can tell you right now, you know, watch some of the Elite Cup games. They do not like to leave Tilted Towers without at least trying to find a fight. And I think that's going to play into the part, right? Some of the other players landing at Tilted Towers might not be expecting, you know, maybe they came into this like, oh, we're going to split it. No, I'm pretty sure they're going to be aggressive.
And we've already touched on a little bit with this duo earlier today, but they are, in fact, certified point getters, because on top of that stat that I gave you guys earlier, we're out of 36 FNCS finals games for Chapter 3. They only went 2 without elims. Well, guess what else? They didn't go go a single game in Chapter 3 FNCS Finals without scoring points of any capacity throughout every single round. That is insane.
Just a stat line, right? I mean, this stage is going to, like, it's legitimately some of the best players from all representing 7 regions from all around the world. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wanted to really quickly touch, I know both of you guys have come from competitive player backgrounds. You know what this feels like to be on a stage like this, to be in front of a crowd like this. What are some of these players feeling right now?
Listen, some of them, they're looking locked in, right? They're looking like focused. They're not even thinking about the crowd. They don't even see the crowd beyond the monitors right now, which is really, really good for some of them. But I'm telling you, some of them are probably just really good at hiding the nerves, because being at these events, it's a different atmosphere. We talked about it time and time again. It is not the same as playing in your room at all. You will have all these lights. Maybe the desk is a little bit of a height difference. The chair is a little bit different than what you're used to, and it all plays into part, how well you're going to do. I remember as a player myself feeling a little bit uncomfortable on the stage, not because of the crowd, not because of the lights, but simply because of, slight changes in how I was used to sitting.
It's just not your home setup, and that's going to be naturally difficult for any player to overcome, no matter how much in-person or LAN experience they might actually have underneath their belt. But one thing that I always find a little bit fun, talking with some of the players, even yesterday and in the player lounge, it's asking them what are their kind of like little tips and tricks. I want to know how many of them like taking their shoes off, for example, because it's just that it adds that extra little safety net of just, hey, I feel more like I'm at my in-home environment.
Yeah, 100%. And this is all, like, I know it sounds like, oh, take your shoes off. That's like a joke right now. This is legitimately, man, like, when a player is comfortable, they will perform better. It's proven. Why don't we hang out with, we got with Tokata, Mini Miner. Are you guys in the player area?
We are indeed, Zeke. Now, some of these players might have their shoes off, but we've got our thinking hats on about this day today at Tokata. I mean, we've got 2 days of Fortnite action. I'm excited. We're going to be breaking everything down tomorrow and today, of course, but how excited are you?
Look, I'm incredibly excited, right? There's so many storylines that have yet to be built, right? We have Malibuca and Merstash going against European GOATs, Titans, right? Tayson and Chapix down in the cloudy condos, and even with the third duo there, Aqua Reason, with a possible third party. I'm excited to see that engagement. We even have Mr. Savage being contested up north, closer to Logjam, and then down at the Synapse Station, Joe and Ziandi, which are no longer contested because now Baka and On1 have moved up north to Mr. Savage and his duo's drop spot. I mean, there's a lot of action to unfold. Mini, I'm excited.
I'm super excited as well, but things can change, of course. We know how these drops are maybe going to form. We see some people moving around and changing up their idea of how they're going to play this. So be on the lookout for some changes. Be on the lookout for some of these players and teams that are thinking, actually, you know what, let's switch things up. Let's go for plan B, plan C, plan D, plan Z, maybe. Who knows?
That's what I love about Fortnite, right? You never know what's actually going to happen, right? We might be able to see the drop map, see what these duos have planned ahead of time, but who knows? Maybe they have a not so great game 1 and then they have to change things up, or maybe even after halftime, right? 3 games down, you're like, okay, we're not doing too good. We got to change something out. But I'm excited to see who's going to be able to show that they've been practicing. They have been in the player lounge going against each other, even in creative, doing 1v1s, 2v2s. And I mean, there's so much to see. I really just can't wait.
So much to see, so much to do, and I can feel the energy in the arena right now. But Zeke, please take it away. We're too hyped.
Bro, I'm right there with you, man. I just cannot wait to see all of the action unfold before our very eyes. We're almost there. Just a couple little things before we start the battle bus on its journey. I wanted to highlight another duo, Cammy and Seti, right? Right? For you longtime EU fans as well, these guys recently just won a DreamHack. They've literally came in 1st and 2nd place
in a solos competition. They were the best 2 players at the tournament.
You know, and the thing that I love about Cammy and Seti is that individually, they kind of remind me of myself, right? That really slow, methodical game play style. They're not going to go for anything too flashy, anything too risky. They're just going to play their game out and play that top 10, top 5 consistent every single game because they are landing at that mid-map spot uncontested.
Yeah, the infamous Cammy split, as everybody in EU and just about the world has basically come to know. Exactly, but I am curious to see how their surge management actually unfolds throughout the entirety of Chapter 3. I don't think that they really had too many issues with it, but it is important to note that for this duo specifically, they don't really like fighting early. And, well, fortunately, having an uncontested draw spot can definitely feed into that. So naturally, you want to wonder where their points are going to come from or where their surge management is going to come from. And I think that that is something that they're largely just going to have to control throughout their mid game.
Yeah, they also have to be very, very careful when they're landing there in the center of the map. There are a lot of teams landing around them, especially, you know, we think about Tilted Towers right to the left of kind of where they're landing. And then also center map, you know, Cold and Sentinel are expected to be contested there at that loot lake kind of area. So if any of those teams kind of want to disengage from some of those early spawn fight situations, they could easily run over to the split that Cammy and Seti are looking to take and maybe gather up some loot themselves, which could force a fight. And that's really disadvantageous for Cammy and Seti because they're going to be split, right? They're at these split jobs, so they're usually off on their own.
And I think what you're getting at is adaptability, right? These duos being able to moment say, we had a game plan, we did not find the chest, we did not find the thing, we got tagged, someone has pushed on our like location, we need to change up something. What does that look like, man, right? Like, if this was EU FNCS, I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem, I got all the notes for you. But it's NA East, it's NA West, it's Asia, BR, OCE, you know, there's so many other regions that you have to kind of be accounting for. And not only their own meta, it's that duo, right? Like, oh, I know they're from BR and they do this, oh great.
I mean, listen, you're bringing up a great point there, right? Like, how? You don't have many notes on a lot of these teams because they're just around for the entire world, right? And that's why international events are held at such a high praise because they're just straight up harder. The competition from all around the world, it's harder to play against people that you don't normally play against.
And the competitive lobby metas that you'll often see break out throughout the course of each of these 12 games this weekend, I think that that is going to be a really crucial aspect for some of these teams to hone in on. We know that these players have been cramming VOD review leading up to today. We know that they're going to be doing plenty more of it after these 6 games are even played tonight. But as far as Cammy and Seti are concerned, just touching back on them, I like the fact that you brought up the early game engagements because honestly, their all-time record, by the way, first 3 zones, they have a less than 5% of elim scoring throughout those first 3 zones. So they don't like the early game engagements.
That is absolutely crazy indeed. You know, a duo I feel like could be a dark horse in the competition that I really want to see kind of win it all. It's Acorn and Edgy. Edgy over in NA has come 2nd place. So close, so many times. Paired up with Acorn. Look, we know this duo is absolutely incredible. They are some of the toppest caliber duo that NA has to offer. But Edgy just hasn't been able to grasp that #1 spot. And what I feel like for me to come out of this event and say, I'll walk away with the Swarovski trophy, baby, that'd be pretty sweet.
Look at Edgy waving. What's up, Edgy? Listen, Edgy loves it, man. You know, we're laughing at him getting, you know, 2nd place 4 times. He himself, in the last battle, look at, I wonder where he's landing. He has the picture himself there. We've seen it a couple of times now. Tilted Towers. And look, they were being real confident coming into this event. Unfortunately, they are contested by a plethora of other teams over at Tilted Towers. I really think that if they were uncontested, they could probably run away with this event. We'll have to see what happens. I still think it's possible. I think it's a little bit less likely, but I was watching Acorn, you know, yesterday, last night, even into the later night, 10, 11 o'clock. He was still VOD reviewing all the way up until then, so I'd love to see the practice coming out of this duo.
But it's the fact that there's 5 duos at Tilted Towers, and literally none of them are willing to budge from this spawn. They all want their piece of the pie here at Tilted Towers, and whether or not this engagement could end up being worthwhile for the duo that even walks away, because when you think about it, Vivid, there might have to be a ton of resources expended.
We cannot forget, here they are, Queasy Vino. We talked about them at the beginning of the show, and like a circle, we find ourselves back at the beginning. I mean, what more could we possibly say about this duo? They've basically been winning everything as of late. Queasy is looking in absolute top form. Vino has been crushing it. He's ready to go.
You want to know something? So I used to be a professional player. Now I'm an analyst, right? Both are very heavy when it comes to the VOD reviews. I pretty much have just done it for the past 5 years. Very intense. I love it. It's awesome. I have never watched a VOD review and been like, wow, I am impressed on an individual level. Because I've been at the top before, right? You know what I mean? I've seen pretty much everything that these players can do.
You're still first in our hearts, Vivian.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Vino, I VOD reviewed him for this event. It's an international event. I'm typically on the NAE side of things, but let me dabble in EU so that way I'm prepared for this event. I'm watching Vino. Individually, like I said, I've never been impressed. I was impressed. He seems so clean. Every single action that he does, it seems like it has a purpose. And I genuinely have never seen that out of an individual player, ever.
There's a reason why he's often regarded as one of the best fraggers in Fortnite competitive history right now. And not only that, but he's got a perfect IGL to match that. Queasy is notorious for being an absolute genius for his IGLing. And I think something that I love about Queasy is that his stats also speak for themselves, because you don't go the past 7 seasons getting a victory royale dating all the way back to Chapter 2, Season 6 without being a consistent IGLer. He just knows how to stay cool, calm, and collected in every single competitive environment.
And I love the fact that you're bringing up the IGLing aspect, right? A lot of these dudes are going to be making a lot of calls. Queasy, what he is known for is his very clean, high ground takes. It just always seems so methodical and flawless whenever he does it. So the pairing is very, very well. But then that's not even like one of the most exciting parts is they always seem to find those mid-game dead side rotations that work out so well that keep them alive into the end game very consistently.
And it's kind of like having a silver bullet, right? You have Vino there ready to go. If you're Queasy, you're just thinking, okay, I need to go accomplish this goal. I'm going to point my silver bullet in the direction. There's an enemy over there I don't like. Vino, why don't you just go 1v2 them for us, and then bring their loot and ammo back and builds, and then I'm going to be up on high ground, okay? I'll see you in 30 seconds.
So
that's not a joke.
I'm laughing because, 1v2s, right? They seem impossible, especially on an international stage. But no, like, literally, Vino, he just does it so often, and I cannot wait to get to the game.
That's right. Guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, Fortnite fans, we're ready. The battle bus is all ready. The players are on board. So let's do this. It's game number 1. Here we go. It is time. Is one just big moment away from really kicking it off. All that preparation, we're going to have to put it into it. The battle bus is ready. Let's go, Jacob.
It is time. Game number 1 of the FNCS Invitational starts right now. 27 different countries are represented. 88 different champions. Overall, this is just amazing.
And just look at the concentration on the players' faces as they start to populate onto this world. Put yourself into their shoes. Imagine the pressure as you are jumping off the battle bus here. We already know what's in store for us. It's going to be an incredible amount of action, as we know there are so many contested drop spots.
Yeah, and already looking at the drop path, one of the biggest ones is going to be over towards Rave Cave, where you have Commandment and Avery, the most recent NA East FNCS champions. They're a little contested. Not going to be a hot fight right out of the gates against Thomas, HD, and Triprin, because right now, they're just getting that early game done and ready.
That's right. And it is going to be so important for everyone who is contested to take and walk in the path of caution. You cannot allow yourself to make any risk. Up at Chrome Jam Junction, we already know there's several players on top of each other. Tilted Towers, remember, 5 duos contesting this area, some of which are the most notable: Bad Sniper, Noah Riley, Acorn, Edgy, Vabs, and Snacky just to the south.
That's such a stacked stage. You might as well call that the Legends Landing, let me tell you. But see Snacky over on the side, you're talking about Bad Sniper as well, but one of our hottest drops with EU's biggest names, Cloudy, Kondo, Feet haven't even touched the ground yet, but it does look like it's going to be Malibuka and Merstash on the ground first.
Malibuka, of course, representing for Russia, Merstash for Latvia. We got Aqua here and Rezon, our high ground kings. One of the most respected set of duos right here. If they really cut loose, they make endgame, it's over. You're gonna see Aqua playing for that big high ground play. And look at how they are respecting the area. Everyone making sure they are solidifying their foundation right before they really decide to make a fight.
Yeah, but look at Malibuka's loot already. a green Prime, a blue Evo Chrome Burst. He's ready to pack a punch at a moment's notice. He's probably waiting for Merstash to probably give him the go-ahead, but another inter-regional battle over towards Grim Gables.
Now, what's crazy about this, I got to sit down with Muzz and Looter. They are feeling exceptionally confident in beating Larssen and Smite, but you have to put yourself into this kind of position right now. There's pressure all around you. To me, it's looking like Larssen and Smite have the advantage right now. Just take a look at the focus right here, right? This little bit of high ground, they have them almost trapped down below.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, Larssen is a little bit separated from Smite. That is a little bit towards low ground. You know as well as I do, all it takes is 1 second of separation to kind of do one of these teams in, as Marine and Vico over here towards Reality Tree. Another contested drop. But you can see this is only game number 1. Nobody wants to put it all on the line just yet, but I might have spoke too soon. Larssen would get it. Taking down a ton of damage on the Muzz. Looter trying to back him up, and it looks like they got the first elimination of FNCS.
Down goes Larssen, and the quick finish for Looter. OCE gets to claim the first on the show today. It's Smite now, left with the pressure of the world on his shoulders. Can he escape these OCE players? It doesn't look very possible. We all know from the past experience that Looter and Muzz are some of the fastest and deadliest when it comes down to these engagements, and they're hip to hip right now.
Yeah, Smite right now, he has to figure out a way to just really stay alive, and it looks like Muzz and Looter, they're trying to decide right now, Monster, do you continue to try to fight against Smite as he's looking to try to get that reboot card onto Larssen as the third-party shots are beginning to come in from the distance. And that's the thing, you know as well as I do, any drop that's contested and you have that early game fight, and especially it builds just like this, there are so many teams that are look at you to get their surge.
Now in the past, Smite has been known to walk away with at least 1 elim in every single major game. This time might actually break his streak that he's been on, but Muzz and Looter, take a look at the respect here to play cautious, take their time, and not overcommit even in the 2v1. That's the respect, but let's get to the real battle. Cloudy Condo, Tayson, Chapix taking on this big duo toe-to-toe. It's Merstash and Malabuka, who have a 73%, 78% win ratio when contested. The odds are not looking good. The third party in the distance, Aqua's up on high ground. They're positioning for the fight.
Yeah, Freeze on A and Aqua, they have that high ground. Just put damage onto 2 different players. They're like eating at a buffet right now when it comes to Storm Surge, but in the feed, Mr. Savage is down. On1 and Baka from NA West, they're trying to take control of that POI, but all 3 teams are here. But you got to keep notice, while all the action is going down between Malabuka and Merstash, you see Aqua and Reason just trying to keep their distance.
Crazy how they fight back. They are not just allowing this team to third party them. Reason gets super hurt there, and it looks like the battles in the distance get to conclude. But here and now, this fight rages on here. Reason all of a sudden who has such an advantageous position, right? And lands all those shots, the entire tables have turned.
Yeah, and it does look like the NA West, Baka and On1 have solidified. Chrome Jam jumps into their self. Down goes Mr. Savage. Down goes iDrop. NA West makes some noise.
That's right, and now for Jace in Basil, another team that was contested in the early kind of situation. It seems like they've won themselves some space. Yep. They're vibing out. Look at the Storm Surge tags here as they start to fight back the teams that are out on the outer edges here. What a great spot to be, especially with the zone housed right on top of them. They have so much going for them now that they don't have to worry about that. Whoa, a big fight though. On1 gets back. That's the replay there. I love that we got to catch that.
And you can see the strategy coming out from On1 and Baka. They switched up their drop spots this weekend. It's not like they've been practicing there all season long. They're just adapting on the fly. As you see Bugha, Mero, we already talked about the uncontested drop spot of Chonkers Speedway. The zone is kind of above them, and they're one of those teams that just wastes no time trying to figure out what that game plan is. They're going to try to get to zone and then worry about surge when all those other teams that are south and east of them have to go past them.
And the Middle Eastern, one of the few representatives of the Middle East community here, and Andalex, what a monumental task to step up here and for the first time ever compete with a duo. So we love to see what we have going on here. So much representation of all of our spaces. You know what I saw, which was in the feed as well? Japan versus Brazil. Looks like Peppo found one too. So little exchanges happening everywhere. As now we jump over to Vino and Queasy, some of the best at Shiny Sound.
Yep, you see them just going for their own surge. This is going to be one of the wildest lobbies we've ever seen. If you're down on surge at any point in the game, you're forced to play catch up to all these elite teams who know exactly how to handle their own surge if they are above. But one of the big teams, one of the favorites to possibly take the competition overall. Janus and Vadil, Greasy Grove, uncontested, and everybody knows what they can do uncontested.
Janus is the only European player to have ever picked up an FNCS in solos, trios, and duos. 3 different game modes, such a decorated team that we have together. That's our German powerhouses. As we jump over to Anas and Pink, what a team right now. Remember, they were contesting Clix and Duke down at the Joneses. It seems like things might have slowed down for them. They've been a bit more passive. There's a single Elim, though, right inside there, too, so that's a pickup.
Yeah, and for a lot of these teams today, this is just game number 1. The nerves right now, they're just feeling each other out, trying to figure out how everybody's playing, and then they're going to adapt as soon as this one gets at least towards the mid-game, probably towards the end game. It's going to get super exciting very, very quick as Merstash, Malabuka, that fight done and over with. They know it's about the resource, about matting up and setting yourself up for later on.
And I love that you say that because what they have that the other teams don't, tons of accessibility to the metal. You see how their metal resources really starting to cap out there. Tayson and Chapix, though, they're going to give up the drop. They say, hey, enough is enough. We've, kind of gotten our hands dirty. Let's go and move out. And you notice that they also managed to take home the metal as well. Everything else, man, you can find it on your way out, right? It's the toughest resource to rebuild back is that metal when you are at the drop spot. So this is a team, they'll bounce back.
Yeah, and it's also one of the first materials that you use when really trying to defend yourself. Zagu and Miriam just kind of looting up the Greasy Grove, whatever Janus and Vadil left behind. And there's actually a lot of the teams that landed Rave Cave a little bit north that are trying to rotate towards this slower side of zone. And right now, everybody are just stuck in zone because nobody wants to bite off more than they can chew.
This is our current reigning champions of the Japanese region, representing for Japan of the Asia region here. Now we jump over to Ed and King. One of the most explosive duos. We talked about Ed's history, how much he's really risen to the challenge, improving season after season. Now paired up with King, they have such a fun history here. They have engaged against one another multiple times in FNCS in seasons past. Now they get to play together.
Yeah, kind of rotating all the way from North Chrome Jam Junction. They find themselves a sweet spot, but a team that has so much experience together, but years ago, now reuniting for the Invitational, Macwood and Kanata. And let me tell you, in some of those practice games, Monster, that uncontested drop spot that Kanata and Macwood have proven to be fruitful. They got first place in scrims, and now they're here to try to replicate that on the biggest stage.
Only 2 duos have fallen, and now another steps into the position here to possibly take a fight, but no, Bevies and Vortex are know a little bit better. They're going to land right behind Chapix. They find Tayson out by himself, a great shot here, and now he steps up, but smarter to go ahead and defensively poise up here. No need to get too antsy.
No, not just yet, at least. You can't really get too busy too early. There's so many players that right now, you see 95 left alive. When Storm Surge actually activates Monster, this is probably going to be one of the most scariest things I've seen in Fortnite in quite a while.
That is true, and Bevies and Vortexes are really considering peeking out. Now, one thing we spoke about with the professional players is that one thing you don't do is open those big boxes and peek for too long. If there's ever a time to do it, you can do it here in the early game kind of situation while you have some time. But while we have some time, let's just go ahead and catch up with Mini Miner.
Not quite there, Tokata, but close enough. I got you, Monster. We're going to be taking a look at North Shiny Silence, where we have a fan-favorite duo, Queasy and Vino. I find it interesting how they were playing split up here. Queasy was on the low ground, taking shots from opposing duos, but Vino, up above on the balloon, was able to get free tags on the opposing duos that were looking at Queasy, and having this split mentality in the drop spot is crucial for getting those free tags and able to set yourself up for that late game.
An amazing breakdown there, Jacob.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't really mention it. Did you see the 18 splashes on him? Yeah. These guys are ready for that end game. If you have that much heals, that's going to allow you, if you are down on Surge, to kind of handle it. Fabs and Stacky, FNCS champions from NA West, hurting on Storm Surge right now, trying to get themselves back up. But it does look like the fight, maybe the dust have settled, and this is the aftermath. As you see, yeah, Fabs does have one elimination, 36 above the damage threshold. Even though right now they have a little bit of comfortability, that threat is still looming in the back of their minds.
That's right, and they rolled up, they took down a team there, and now they get to go ahead and reap the rewards. They needed those tags, but that's not going to be enough. There's a little bit more in front of them.
Ooh.
A team that's well below the Surge right now, our full Middle Eastern duo, Spy and Focus, are sitting here, and it's not looking too hot. 220 damage below. I had so much time to catch up with Spy. He is an incredible, and I mean incredible player, but this is one of those decisions that you have to make now.
Noah
Who do you pick
Riley.
to fight? There's no easy one. Now we have EU versus NA West. Noah Riley, Bad Sniper, Epic Will, and Reed on the other side of the wall.
This one is going to get close because Reed, I already talked about, he loves to fight. Epic Will loves to fight as well, but Epic Will is also that IGL, that 6-time champion. He knows when and where to pick his battles in every single one of these situations. So he's probably talking to him right now, get the pre-edit ready, but he's 137 below. This is why they're not abandoning the fight. They have damage to do.
Epic Will and Reed have around a 70+% win ratio when taking on these early game fights in these early zones. It's looking very good for them, but the Surge, no one can beat the Surge. That is going to be inevitable damage in the coming seconds. So this is why this fight's so important. Down comes the Chug Heal. They're just going to run and sit there, try to get as much health as possible. Meanwhile, in the distance, Threats and Alice are starting to put shots in. So this is not a fight that's not, being interfered with. Reed's going to fall first. Epic Will's by himself. Shots come in. Noah Riley wastes no time. They pounce in, and they're hunting now. Reed's on the run. Shots from the side. Who will steal away this elimination here? Someone has to get it in there. It is. They close things up and finish it off quickly, and just like that, EU comes out on top.
Oh my God, but the action is just all over. Basil, Chase, they're out as well. That's Pink and Anas who pick up 2 more. And I even saw moments ago that Bugha went down. The elimination feed is just lighting up. Pars and Rays go down as well. This one is getting active very fast, but that's because of the Storm Surge. But this is something I feel like all of us preface just a little bit. Handling that Storm Surge is going to be so important throughout these 12 games.
Kanata and Macwood take down Bugha and Miro in the feed. It is done. It is wraps. Meanwhile, Asia's champions are finding some too, but KBR and Z, representing for Brazil, are here, and they need more tags. They're just 8 above. Well played for them to go ahead and find a few to keep them in the game, but let's get on over to that fight that is inevitably gonna continue. Tayson versus Chapix.
And this is exactly what happens when you split it, though. They split that drop spot. They weren't able to get the early damage. Down goes Chapix, Tayson under pressure, HP getting dropping, and there he goes, back to the lobby. Vidil and Janus do it again.
From teammates to enemies, Janus takes down Tayson in the zone. Just like that, it is over. Now, we jump on over to Onwon and Baka. 3 elims, NA West, one of the few hopes for NA West this weekend right here. Talks to me about how they managed to surge over Mr. Savage and iDrop, and now they're picking it up.
Just honestly talking to them before this as they were preparing, and when they finally made that decision to switch up their drop spot, they had a choice. Do you contest Hen and Vortex? Do you contest Joe and Z Andy? They said no. They want to take one of the biggest names in Europe. They want to go against Mr. Savage and iDrop, and already it's proving to be fruitful. Onwon coming from Mexico. This guy is a legend from NA West, and honestly, it's been just a few seasons and he's already making a name for himself.
That's right, and way to do it on the international stage now when it matters. Now we jump on over to Chicho and Trulix here. What a great spot to be in, my God. Yeah. Finding beautiful tags here, holding the team out on the side. Meanwhile, Vidil and Janus look like they have finally made it from outside the storm line. Tough spot to be in. You have a lot of water here, very little land terrain to work with, and take a look in the distance there. You see the stacking starting to happen. Meanwhile, on the other side, some of the NA East best, Edgy and Acorn. Now what's cool about this duo here is that Edgy and Acorn quite literally said, hey, the better the lobby skill-wise, the better I will perform. That is how much experience he's picked up in the past from practicing against the best of the best lobby.
And already, if you look at their loot right now, that 5-team contestation coming out of Tilted Towers, honestly, didn't do too much. 256 above the damage threshold as well. Shots continue to fire off onto Ju. He goes down. Elimination's going to be cleaned up to Acorn. They get 2 to their total. And his teammate, Yusri, goes down as well. That's going to be Vidil and Noah Riley picking up some more eliminations as well.
What a quick way to finish that one off. And there's a problem here. We have Baka and On1 sitting on the walls. If NA East champions are most recent of Avery and Commander, you can see they've actually taken a lot of damage here. They were just below the surge quite a bit ago, and yes, more damage is starting to come in. It's only a matter of time now for them. They will have to take a fight. That's no easy fight on the other side of the wall, but first tags there are going to go to the side of the NA East boys.
Yeah, Onward and Baka right now, they just need to play their game. They are down on Storm Surge in terms of commandment and Avery, 65 above, those traded shots. Actually, I wish Onward and Baka would have just stayed in the box, because honestly, if they would have just waited a little bit longer, Storm Surge would have had these guys almost down and out, and they could have easily cleaned those up. But right, they're just playing safe. They just want to go ahead and make it towards their end game, because this is one of the teams. They finished second in the last FNCS of NA West. They know how to fight with the best of them.
This is what it's all about. We show up for big moments like this. Can you step up to the plate? We are just moments away from the game becoming extremely difficult. The zone is only getting tighter and tighter, and take a look at how many players have huge pressure. Rapid and Ambulance now, and they have Clix and Dukes hitting above them. Macwood and Kanata starting to look down as well. They're off to a hot start. That is one of the teams to look out for. Meanwhile, a single Elam already for Clix on the other side, so they've survived the drop. A huge shot. Clix finds a one. They're on to Andalex in the finish. Two. Clix and Duke managed to get 2 more eliminations. Oh my gosh.
Hey, you got to give him credit, though. He said it himself. He has that World Cup experience teamed with an FNCS champion in Duke, his first time in an in-person event, and he's already loving the environment. Even though he didn't take that off-spawn fight, it was so that he can make it toward this end game and continue to do things like that.
Alice and Threats, they're communicating with a translator between them. NA East and Japan playing with each other, but hold up. Vadil, Janice, this is a problem. One of our favorites. When you look online, you look at Twitter, you look at what everyone is putting together for a top 10 list. You expect this team to do so well in game 1 and already broken apart.
Yeah, Janice was down inside of the storm. Vadil really couldn't go and save him. He has no HP really to regain. Merstash and Malabuka, another one of those teams towards Cloudy Condos who are nobody really fought it off spawn. They got some tags and left, 31 below. The pressure is on. They're so close to zone, but they can't necessarily travel to zone because they have to worry about Storm Surge that's actually doing a ton of damage.
31 below. Not looking good, Jacob. Tags are coming in. Clock is ticking. They do have heals. They can survive for a little bit more, but you hear the shots raging everywhere as the lobby turns online. Vadil fires back. He catches Macwood in the feed. That must have been incredible, and that's happening right above us. Meanwhile, turning the story around, Vadil is known as one of the greatest box fighters, literally made his name known for taking on fights and destroying players across Europe. Let's take a look at that one more time.
Yep, you see Vadil just kind of peeking through the cone, catching Macwood off guard. And honestly, it looked like Macwood was going to try to do the same to him, peeking through that cone. You better watch where you peek. Aceti and Cammy, another favorite to probably take the top spot here in this event. 306 above the damage threshold. They're still continuing to put that pressure on the lobby. That's exactly what you got to do when you make it to endgame, especially if you're a team that doesn't fight off spawn.
Becoming Legends, Cammy and Seti have 2 launch pads. They have material. They have heals. This just might be their game. Well, let's jump on over to Seed. KBR. How's it going here? 132. They have Z Handy and Joe FN on the other side of the wall. It's going to be a tough one. 23 duos remaining here. The surge is still active. And now as the timer hits 0 and the zone reveals itself, we're gonna start entering into the first moving zone territory. These next 25 seconds are gonna be some of the toughest they have ever had to deal with. Remember, for some on this stage, this is their first LAN, an in-person event that they have ever experienced here, and they get to play it out now.
And this is where you talked about some of the players that had rotation. It is going to be so important. You see where the zone pulls. There's different elevations that these players are going to have to traverse through. If you don't have any sort of rotation, you're going to have to figure out how to recycle it. Otherwise, you're going to be living a nightmare.
Vadil, he has a launch pad. He's going to play for it. High ground. The first ones to go is Vino and Queasy. This is where you expect them to be. They're up top where they are so comfortable. Now, can they hold it all the way? The launch pad comes down. They don't want to stay there and commit the map. They're going to go in and switch it up. Merstash on the low ground down to 40 HP, but he still has some movement to work with.
You can see him just speaking to the cone, gathering that information. He has a launch pad as well. He can easily try to find his way through, but there's so many players stacked all around him. They don't want to make it easy, but 28 above the damage threshold. He's not only looking for the perfect rotation, he's looking for some players to put some shots on, but a high ground goes over to Peppo.
Whoa, Asia on height now too. This is big. That's something you did not expect, but Vino and Queezer are now looking up to take the side to go for it. They land on top of Asia, and it's all or nothing now. Vino fights for it. The wall gets edited. It's not quite his. It's a battle on all fronts here. Can they win it off? And he does just enough. Vino and Queasy have managed to fight back for high ground in the first game of the FNCS Invitation.
Yep, and there goes a saw to the feed. Vidil and Janice, their run came to an end. Vico picking up Anas and Murstache. Two different players as Alice is trying to break through. 118 below the damage threshold. He knows he cannot stay in one place too long, trying to reunite with Threats, but he goes down as well. Storm Surge really eating these guys alive. Alice has to do something, but the options are so thin. He doesn't know what to do. Finally finding one player, puts the shot on. Storm Surge still going wild. He's below, but that Siphon coming through just in the nick of time to keep him alive.
He is alive. He takes down Moran, steps into the zone, and look at this. A huge pickup now. That's going to buy him more time. That could be the absolute difference. Meanwhile, Seti and Cammy playing their game. Pamstu and Fast still alive as well. High ground has Queasy and Vino. Logren has Chicho and Trulix playing and leading the front side of the zone. There's not a player in sight. Clix is still alive now, working his way through. He has lost his teammate. The full finish comes through. It might be all or nothing now. He still has so much left in the tank.
Yeah, but I'm not too worried about him because of him and Duke's high placement last FNCS was because of solo clutches from that man himself. But talk about solos. Joe gets one as Andy goes down. Shots coming in from the high ground. Pressure is there, but Joe's trying to find his way to the front side of zone, but it's a hard journey trying to find it. 12 HP, continuing to drop. Shots still coming in. He's going to find a moment of an oasis to try to stabilize and figure out what's the next play.
Cammy and Seti find their way to the high ground. Down goes Clix to the hands of Cammy. That's a huge one. Hello, Vino. You have to turn and run. Cammy wants to hear nothing about that noise right there. Meanwhile, Seti's keeping eyes on the general area. Very solid. Chicho fighting his way, but no. Eddie comes through. It's Zagu and Mareem, who's right above them there. Our FNCS champions of Asia are still here. Down goes Pamstu as well. What a huge elimination here.
The top 7 duos alive. 11 players total left in this game. One of them being Seti and Cammy towards the high ground. The analyst has called it. These guys don't play too many early game fights. They wait for this end game and for every opportunity. But Acorn, he's trying to sneak some extra points. He has the med miss sitting in the zone. Vino doing the same, but he's almost all out of opportunity.
This is absolutely what you expect of the best players in the world coming together for this invitational here, to have this opportunity to step up to the plate, represent for your region. This is what it's all about. Vino by himself, just working his way, ratting his way through the build. Acorn is as well. There's a set of major points separating them. Vino looks to high ground. He says, I'm not going to allow you to just sit there and focus me. Trulex is meanwhile in the low, looking for something to do here, turning builds into Chrome. Remember, he can slip through any one of these now, becoming desperate.
He's just trying to reinforce a little bit of the builds that are around him so nobody can quickly edit through and try to pick that shot. Miram and Zagu, they don't have that high ground, but they have that mid layer trying to find that comfortability. Vino, only 2 HP, no med miss left. He's going to have to try to find a Siphon here, but no, he gets dropped. Acorn finds another one from the outside of zone.
7 elims for Mareem and Zagu, representing for Asia here, looking great. Meanwhile, Yumi and Cool are getting one step closer now to taking this fight. A huge shot out to Mareem. He's going to feel that one as he plays defensively, but Zagu is here to back him up. They're going hand in hand. The fight breaks out. They clap back. Down.
Oh my gosh!
Cool steps up to the plate. We are now down to 3 duos in the end game, 2 solos and a duo up top.
Carrying that momentum from last season's FNCS, but he has so much more work to do. Seti and Cammy, the only duo left in the game is Acorn staying alive. Still 4 eliminations on the back of Cool, trying to find his way through. But like I said, there's only 1 duo team, and they have the high ground and the recipe for success.
You cannot write a better story for becoming legends. Seti is fighting back. Cammy is fighting back. They're looking to get inside. There goes the elim they were looking for. Just 1 player separates them, but Acorn will not survive. And Seti and Cammy take game number 1.
Poland is the first country to take home a victory royale on the FNCS Invitational stage. These guys have came to play through and through.
What a fairy tale beginning for these absolute veterans, GOATs, some of the hardest workers we have ever seen enter into the ecosystem, becoming legends. Seti and Cammy must be absolutely proud. Acorn and Edgy, they were just incredible. Wait for Acorn to truly step up to the table there and clutch this one out. And he said it, put me in the best lobbies, I will put up the numbers.
Yeah, and for him, that's a little bit of a success, even though he didn't get the victory royale. Staying alive as long as he did. Leaderboard, Mr. Savage, eye drop that went down early. They might have to start dealing with that storm surge early.
And that's right. We saw what happened in game one. The real question is, how are you going to adjust coming into game two? This battle bus is telling me that the Chrome Jam Junction is under fire very quickly. It's so close to the drop spawn. You can see already things kick off. This time, iDrop says, you know what? Let's put that weight, in my experience, on my back. Savage takes down Baka, and all of a sudden, it's a different tale to be told.
Happy birthday, Mr. Savage. First elimination here in game number 2, and that puts ON1 on notice. You gotta have to watch out because we're here to fight. That first one might have been a little lucky, but another one, this one, I feel like has to have a little bit more damage because all 3 of these players, Monster, they were dealing with Storm Surge and they were just on the cusp, some were even below.
This is not the only contested draw spot. Don't forget, Tilted Towers has so much going down there as well. So between Cloudy Condos and Tilted Towers, these are the 2 most contested drop spots. And what I saw there is Acorn and Edgy in the feed find Norryla early. So there are big fights unfolding already, just giving us a little sample of how these drops are playing out.
Yeah, you can kind of see everybody just on their drop spot, the ones that don't necessarily have the POI. It's about looting up, getting as much resources as possible, trying to get as many metal and brick as you can in terms. That way, when you make it towards the end game, that way you don't have to worry about it. But for these teams that are also on the outskirts and talk about looting up, you have to start thinking about Storm Surge. Your pathing is going to be so important because we saw how many teams went down to the Surge itself.
Here is Poland's finest game 1 winners from Becoming Legends, Setis and Cammy. This team here has placed top 10 in every finals they have ever competed with together. But wait a second, hold that thought. And Ascen Pink here on the other side of the Joneses. This is a fight that's being extended out. The last time we were here, Clix found an elimination with Duke. They actually held it off. Remember when we talked to Reet and Epic Whale, they said, hey, you know what? I believe in the fighting power of NA on this one. They have full confidence that they can do it.
Yeah.
Pink and Anas have to jump back.
Yeah, and you got to think back to that NA East finals where Clix solo points after solo points, but as long as these 2 guys stay alive, they're going to be contenders for every single tournament they play in. Duke has FNCS champion in trios. Clix is one of the best individual players on the planet.
We have a huge opportunity here for Duke and Clix to continue to put up big numbers. We know they had an excellent kickoff to things here as they continue to find their strides, but things are going to slow down, and you know, you really genuinely expect this to happen, especially at a Fort Jonesies. This is not a POI big enough for 2.
Yep, you see Clix just trying to gather the information. The longer this fight goes and the higher they build, if it comes to it. Got Jason Basil over on the side. Those are the third parties that we saw towards the early of last game. This is Nas Pink trying to get deep into the box. That Evo Chrome Burst AR. We saw how much damage it does to these builds, and it eats through in a second.
More importantly, if you can find the tags,
that's
just
big.
like that, Pink and Anas already turning this story on its head here. That's bait there. He sees the shotgun. That moment, Duke does not let it drop. Now, mind you, Clix has some of the greatest track record in history of taking on head-to-head battles like this. This is why he is so recognized as one of the greats of the space in these kind of moments.
This is where these guys, 66% of their overall victory royales do come from the low ground. Pink and Anas, they're just trying to keep a little bit of elevation. They're not ultimate high ground, 3-4 boxes big. They're just trying to keep that advantageous position as long as they can. But this monster, this one's dragging out a little too long. Do you think there's gonna come a point in time where they just kind of abandon and try to get to the zone?
Well, I hope it continues because the rest of the lobby is just taking their time. 49 duos are still alive here, and this is one of the only ones deciding to go toe-to-toe. Clix, once again, gets tagged there. And again, let's talk about the bad blood developing between these two. Pink and Clix were once upon a time almost duos, as Pink was so close to traveling to United States to play alongside them, but now they find each other on the other sides of the monitor here, going head-to-head. And I mean, looking at the HP so far, it's looking very good for Gills, NS, and Tundra's Pink.
Yeah, and honestly, let's talk about this prolonged fight and what happens if they do actually split right now. They're not going to have a lot of time to go ahead and mat up, but a big shot coming out from Clix. We know what happens when this man has his back against the wall. His bite is much louder than his bark.
This is where Duke does tend to shine right now, these real scrappy types of engagements. This man does not tend to miss a shot. As now, they're looking. They know the enemies felt that on the other side of the wall, but hey, the longer they stay here, the less the less odds they have to actually survive. The longer story is, of course, making it to endgame. Let's jump on over, though, to our favorites of Miro and Bugha here. Head-to-head with Z Andy, Joe FN, Bevy in the distance as well. There's so much going on here.
Yeah, for them, we saw that replay of last game during the listen-in. They were just dealing with Storm Surge, and not the best way. Even though they were about 50 above, that's not the position you want to be in. But you can see Bugha and Miro have a 60-plus win rate when contested. So they just need to find their rhythm here on this international stage.
Talking about international stage, Alex and Bailey, they have taken us from the player lounge to the main stage. Game 2 now, the fight, the second time. The story won't be the same. It's Yusri who finds the trade there, and now has to protect his teammate. A huge shot onto Bailey. It's not looking good for Oceania's champions here, but Bailey waits for the toe-to-toe. He gets the thirst, he needs the points. That's a kind of play you only see in person. A huge shot. Bailey says, respect me, Yusri, back up.
He has some heals to use, but does he have the time? Not finding a way to stabilize. Bailey's gonna get in, but only a sliver of HP, and that's why he's picking and choosing his fights right now. He's just trying for piece control first, trying to heal up, getting as much shield as he can, but you can see he has no HP to regain, so that knock on the Jew is so important.
And he knows he cannot allow him to get the heal off here. You will not save your teammate if it's up to Bailey. Yusri may have the health advantage, but Yusri has his back against the wall right now. The defensive trade, a huge shot, and Bailey gets caught with his pickaxe out. Yusri clutches up, saves his teammate, and they are in game 2.
Sends him back to the lobby. But third place, NA West, Cool Yumi getting busy already. Elimination on the Wax. Now it's up to Rob Bob, trying to stay alive here, trying to get and find a position to where he can hide. You see it in the mini-map. He just got out, and I love that play coming out from some of these players, choosing not to be the hero, because you end up in the hero in the wrong position, you're end up going to be a 0.
Now, Robab doesn't have a lot of experience here. They've only made 2 finals together between Wax and Robot, but there's a huge development happening here. Let's watch this back one more time. Here's how it kicks off. Cool finds the huge tag. All of a sudden, the knock is there. And yes, there was a third party in the side. You get the reaction as well. You can see how fans are cheering in support of one another. But back into the action. Hellfire, Falconer, new duo, pairing up with one another.
They already took down King, so this has got to be Ed coming out from Brazil. EU, NA West, trying to take down the region, trying to bolster their points, because right now the only points they have is that elimination onto King. But with Storm now covering and moving over them, Ultimate Teams now in the distance as well, it's going to become more and more dangerous.
Popfear's one of the only competitors, one of the very few left in our scene that has been here since the World Cup. He placed 5th in duos way back when. Wait for him to step up to the challenge and take on this first FNCS Finals ever together alongside Hellfire there from Denmark. But On1 and Baka, did they get the save off?
No, I think On1's there by himself. He's just trying to stay alive, and it does look like Larssen and Smite might know he's there. And this is where On1 has to be very, very careful. Fighting in the storm with very little HP. Larssen knocking on the door, trying to burst his way in. You see the bait and switch come through, trying to make sure that both of these players have enough HP to take a big shot from On1 and continue that bait and switch, but he is on the run.
What a tough story for On1 and Baka. Such a great and strong showing in game 1. He loses his teammate to Mr. Savage out the gate, survives, saves them, but Smite and Larssen, who are contested here by Looter and Muzz, are still in the zone, and they meet him, and that's how how they get this first elim. So it's only a matter of time now as the clock rages on. Smite steps up. And there it is. The zone does the rest, and they will find their second elim now, wiping up one of the greats from NA West.
Now they got to go ahead and travel to zone, but back on board, Falconer and Hellfire, but let's just make it Hellfire because Ed was able to take down Falconer in a 1v2 situation. Now he's 1v1 versus EU. Brazil trying to stand up tall. Ed put the pressure onto those covers, but he knows when to pick and choose his fights. He hears the splashes coming out. He knows that's going on to Falconer. The shield keg as well. He's trying to stop as much of the heals from going through, but it does look like Hellfire is going to get 200 yet again.
Listen, Ed recently signed to Team Liquid, showing you guys why exactly he deserves to be here. He has had some of the most impressive rises in recent times on his region, but now he's looking to represent for Brazil and, of course, for Argentina. His teammate King, who is already down. Hellfire manages to lose his teammate. The wall gets taken, and Hellfire has to react quickly, but look at that. He does not miss a beat. Ed finds the siphon, and now it's an even exchange.
Yep. Right now, the 2 launch pads on the Hellfire. He can abandon this fight at a moment's notice.
Here it
but
is.
Ed with no HP, it's all or nothing.
Here it
This
is.
is the moment you've been waiting for.
Here it
Shots
is.
coming through, and Ed 1v2s NA East.
Brazil and Argentina are probably standing on their feet right now. Ed touches up a 1v2.
Oh my gosh, and if somehow, some way, he found a way to get King's card, but they're on over to Chonker Speedway. The action will continue. Reason and Aqua going up against Hen and Bevy and Vortexers. They have a lot of practice going against each other on the EU region, so this is no strange fight to them.
What's scary about this is the fact that they've rotated out of the condo down to the territory of Bugha and Miro at Chonker Speedway. And yes, they get met with this incredible duo, but it shows you that no one is safe. This entire area is such a deadly play zone, and now you have Reason with the scraps, with his back against the wall, below the Storm Surge, absolutely ready to commit to this battle.
Yep, Aqua and Reason again, 140 below the damage threshold. And you can see all the players at the top of the damage threshold, but this is, again, what is going to happen at Cloudy Condos. A triple contested spot, but nobody is fighting. That's forcing these players to rotate away to find some extra loot and find the damage. And 165 below, Monster, I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't nervous.
Copenhagen Flames, Pablo and Swag on your screen right now, also below, but hey, a good little tag here of Elim for Swag right now, puts him in a nice position. They found a player out in the distance. Snacky and Fast have a window open there, focusing on the duo as well. So they're all looking to target Noah Riley and Bad Sniper. Remember, Noah Riley was eliminated very early to the hands of Edgy while they were landing, and he didn't even get to touch down before he was swatted out the sky.
And game number 1 winners, Cammy and Seti, they haven't even done much. They get the zone for now. They get the high ground, probably just trying to go for Surge. So that way, when they are forced to rotate, they only have to worry about that. But we knew they were down on the Surge. Now the Peace Control is trying to come over. They're trying to break into the boxes. It's now or never because damage is being dished. A huge shot from Aqua's onto Bevy, who's forced back into a defensive position.
Well, here we go. It's now enough in 20 seconds left, but so the Surge gets active, and they have to turn up right now. This is game number 2. Aqua needs these points here. Bevies manages to go ahead and chug splash his way down. He's back up to Vex HP. He's looking pretty solid, but Aqua not afraid by any means. Meanwhile, Reason finds a wall. That's an angle, but he doesn't like the defensive edit that responds from Bevy and Vortexer. And now, here it is. Things are going to get dicey as the Storm Surge turns on.
Yeah, look at them. You can see 30 below. Even though they're continuously dropping, they're doing damage. Seti getting one on a Peppo, probably sending him back to the lobby. As Scram goes down as well. Acorn found a way to get rebooted, but Deja Vu strikes. He goes down again to Epic Whale, who honestly is having a much better performance this go around.
But back into the action here. Reason now down to no HP. Aqua is also on the defensive stance here. Down goes Reason. That's a huge shotgun shot from Vortexer from the side. If you blinked, you missed it, and now Aqua has all the pressure on his shoulders. He has to back up. But Vortexer playing smart, respecting the GOAT of EU. Aqua here, our World Cup duo champion, is now left as a solo. Clock's ticking here, the pressure comes in. Bevy's looking for any angle. These are all enemy walls here. One false move and it could be it, but the Surge is gonna hurt Aqua again. He gets the heal off and no, he gets finished. Vortexer finds the second.
500 above the damage threshold. This is only their second FNCS playing together, and they're looking like they are longtime teammates already as Joe and Z Andy, uncontested, over towards Synapse Station. looking to get some damage as well. Even though 79 is above the damage threshold, you know as well as I do, that is absolutely nothing.
Mixing in Arctor here. Oh no, they're gonna find a huge elimination there. Another surge spike that's going down. It's attracting the flies in the distance there. You see folks starting to look over. Arctor has a decision to make. Does he push in again? They barely have anything. They've used all their heals. One tag is all it's gonna take for take them out. Grolls claps back though, and that's a huge punishment there. And with the downed body, he says, you know what? I'm gonna full finish here. I'm back in this game. Arctor takes off running for the hills.
That was a much needed battle by Grolls, and I like to play again. You cannot be a hero in these lobbies as Mustache. Looking like he's having a little bit of trouble here. 202 above the damage threshold. 2 eliminations already, so they finished this fight, but you can see the teams on the outskirts of Rocky Reels, they don't want to let this be an easy rotation to one of the deadliest teams in the lobby.
The launch pad's already down. Malibu and Mustache cap off HP and hit it. Off they go. It's Chicho and Trulix who are looking in. These guys have gone head-to-head so many times in the past, and you know there is all types of bad stories waiting to unfold in front of us. But Chicho and Trulix don't get the elim. They managed to hit the ground running. Malibu and Mustache are waiting here, though. Oh, yeah. Time to fight back.
Malibu just trying to break through. He talked about in some of those interviews playing a little bit more passive than what he's used to. 2 eliminations. I gotta think they're trying to pick and choose a lot of their battles, but the lobby is putting such a focus onto these 2, getting them to expend so many resources. Malibu has just about 60 to 70 HP as well. Mustache is trying to do what he can to try to find a stabilization method here, but it's just happening from so many different players who have so many different angles.
One thing that is working, though, is the zone. It pulls pretty close to all the players nearby. Finally, things settle down. Tayson and Chapix last game found the same duo on the edge, but let's jump on over to the west side. Let's get to the opposite side. It's Thomas HD and Trip Burn. What a great standing so far here, looking pretty solid. They have Janice and Badil weakened nearby. Bugha and Miro are also making it much further this game, looking like they've adjusted, learned from their last mistakes, but here we go, that familiar story, 3 above.
Yeah, and you can kind of see in the circle is, the zone is literally in the center of the zone. So I don't think there's gonna be too much of any slow side for a lot of these teams to try to travel to. With Miro taking a couple of shots, but the team that went off spawn trying to have a much better performance. Mr. Savage and Eyedropper under siege, under pressure. Mr. Savage is gonna get dropped for now, trying to pass on the resources to Eyedrop because he knows he's gonna have to deal with a lot.
No-Ray on his back here. Eyedrop has to step up. Savage is down. Can he do it? He's been in so many finals with Mr. Savage. His 3rd appearance now in a big setting like this. But of course, the first return to in-person. They're going to allow, Marine might actually allow him to get the pickup. Whoa, that is a huge mistake there.
Yeah, a huge mistake. And honestly, these are one of those things that you take a picture, you record this moment right here. Mr. Savage went down. You give a player like that a second chance at life, they will make you regret it as they're trying to launch pad away, trying to find some sort of safety. Sticking box to box, hip to hip, landing on a couple more resources as well. This is a perfect spot to land at for Eyedrop and Mr. Savage. That way they can replenish some of the lost resources.
Such a massive find right there. It was looking like it was all over for a moment, but there, they get a little lucky. Smite and Larson at 4 elims now. It seems like as all the action, as all the cooks jumped into the kitchen, they have managed to walk away with a successful meal or 2. They're looking pretty good.
4 elims, like you said. Clown Ref Scar, just a little bit above him. You just check a sneak peek at the leaderboard. Cammy and Seti still holding on to first place by 7 to Asia's Barim and Zagu. 151 above for the NA West, 3-time champions, Fabs and Snacky, sitting in a good spot, trying to gather the information, but Badil and Janice are under pressure, with Badil down, 56 below the damage threshold. Shots from Thomas HD to take down another EU powerhouse.
And in the distance, Japan is just lurking nearby. Asia has performed so well. Remember, Mareem and Zagu are in 2nd place as the most recent FNCS champions of the Asia region. Easy and Vino, though. Big story in front of them. This is a team that we have expected to come out so far ahead of the competition, as they have had one of the more dominating tracks leading into this, taking home a multitude of Elite Cup finals where the competition, as we know it, is extremely tough. Meanwhile, Smite and Larson, battle's breaking out above them. They get to steal the loot here. That's a great find.
Yeah, that's a huge find for them. You get to upgrade some of your inventory, get some more heals. The Chrome Splash probably going to be used a little bit later just to get that rotation to come through. For them, they found a huge amount of resources. That way they could try to make it towards the next end game, but you see Storm Surge just still affecting so many teams.
Tough spot being there for Larson as he misses the heal. And Anas and Pink go down from the high ground. It's Vortex in hand. They are just turning this lobby upside down right now. Queasy and Vino are back at it again, though, in this end game here, trying to find a position. Now, remember, what they did in the last game was exactly this. Half in, half out. They say, hey, we're going to play for high ground. Vortex says, all right, you can have it. Hen says, you can have it. I'm going to low.
Yeah, but I got to be careful here. Queasy and Vino both know 6th moving zone, which is about to happen here shortly, is one of those zones to where, yeah, you might have the high ground now, but with the amount of launch pads going around, the amount of threats that are in this lobby, you might have to stagger your teammates, one forward, one back, just to make sure nobody is able to sneak it away.
Oh, this is looking like a tough situation right now for our champions, Mareem and Zagu. Once again, leading into this game, 2nd place. No heals. Very, very peculiar spot to be in. The zone pulls far south as well. Now, they have some mats, but they will absolutely need a refresher right now. Maybe even a gifted launch pad from a team in the distance. All around them are so many healthy players. On the other side, Vino and Queasy starting to eye up the lobby, size up the rest of this game here. Bugha finds Mareem in the feed. There it is. The full finish is going to start to come through. The first elim for Bugha and Miro.
This is where I'm looking at the mini-map right now, seeing where it's actually going to go. There's different elevations. I think whoever is able to grab a side of that mountain first will have the best chances to win this game overall, as they're still 500 above the damage threshold. Cammy, as soon as he lands, he's going to get back up to 200 along with Seti as well.
Kanata still alive in this game as well. Keep an eye out for him, but Seti and Cammy have to defend their lead right now. 3 elims, what a way to do it so far. Meanwhile, Queasy and Vino are still on height. This is one of the toughest end zones as well. Flutter Barn has so much varying terrain. You have to be careful. There are indestructible, large stone monuments in between you and your rotate.
Nada going down, leaving Macwood as a solo. They at least got 1 elimination, so they don't have to worry too much about damage in terms of Storm Surge. But Bugha and Mero, as it does shut off, you saw they were well above it. So changing up their strategy, and it's paying off handedly.
The pacing is incredible right now. Only 19 duels remaining. Things have really taken a turn here for the worst for most. Reed's gonna get burned and turned back to the lobby there as he falls, but that's still well inside the top 20. Meanwhile, Vino on high ground, looking very comfortable. No resistance. Larson and Smite are making up for where they left off. They may have not earned a huge game 1, but a great game 2. And now Miro and Bugha are fighting back.
Yeah, 2 of the big NA West powerhouses going down. They're trying to get another elimination, but Bugha and Mero, huge shots gonna be fired, but Miro's getting tagged back up. He needs that Siphon to go through, but it's still not gonna be enough. PH Sin does go down. Bugha trying to be that IGL. He's trying to lead him to greener pastures, but he's running out of resources. Macwood falls. High ground though. Does Vino and Queasy still have that position onto the high ground as Smart and Lawson? They're not ultimate low, but they found themselves that perfect middle layer.
And you'll notice Bugha is now left by himself. KVR finds his teammate Smite and Larson on the ultimate low. Hen and Vortex front side firing back and on height. Vino and Queasy are looking like this is a fairy tale game for EU once again, but we'll see if NA can step up to the damage. Let's see it. Hen is going to be punished and now hunted down. Smite doesn't find the full elim here, but my gosh, already at 6 eliminations. Meanwhile, we jump over. Sensen and Cole still alive here. This is where they do best. Like we said before, it's bread and butter. They know how to stick hip to hip. They have to now. Cole is hurt.
Multiple top placings out of this duo. Not wanting to fall short here today, but Cammy and Seti from high ground to low ground. Another end game is going to be achieved. True Lex gets dropped. Smite's going to go ahead and lend that helping hand, trying to steal away all of that loot, but the zone is just immediately chunking him out. 4 HP and a dream for Smite.
And a huge end game right now in front of Smite here. That top 5 unlocked before him. Cammy goes down, Seti goes down, and it is all his here. And now he fights back, but the zone does the rest. Great game there, but Vortex is now by himself. What can he do?
Cole and Senton now have the high ground. They've turned the story around.
I don't know how they stole it away, but Kitos is a solo as well. High ground versus low ground, but it's a 2v2. Senton and Cold versus Vortexers and Hen. This is gonna come down to the wire monster, and this is gonna come down to Senton and Cold when and where they drop down low.
Once again, we are looking at an NA versus EU finish. Cold is gonna get big tagged there by Vortex on the low ground. 7 Elans, no builds. It's looking very, very tough, and it's the same story for Hen as well. It's all or nothing. Can they find something here? But Senton and Cold, although they have the height, they are also running extremely low on resources. But if there's a team that can do it, it is them.
Yeah, you see them trying to go back outside of zone, trying to find anything to work with in terms of Hen and Vortex. Senton and Cold, we talked about, it's up to them when and where they drop down low. The game is definitely in their hands. They just have to close it out. EU versus NA East. This one is just a prolonged long game, but the damage is in from Cold.
And this is what we talked about. That wall, there's nothing you can do. It's all or nothing. Down goes Cole. Senton's hurt too, but they have the angle. They're gonna wait this one out just for a little bit and allow the zone to do the rest. Cole finds the one, and Senton finds the other. NA takes game number 2.
You look at that, the passion, the emotion coming out of Senton and Cold. A team from NA East. Honestly, I don't think they got the right respect coming into this event because of what happened to them last season.
That's right. Cole and Senton have been here before, and now they get a victory in person, on stage, against some of the best we have ever seen. And someone here will walk away with it all.
$200,000 for first place. A trophy unlike ever before seen in Fortnite, and a chance to call yourself one of the best in the world of Fortnite, not just your region.
And it looks like we have a very similar bust to the last round. That means these northern contested teams are going to fight first. One of the biggest things we saw from game 2 was that early elimination onto Noah Riley. Edgy quite literally, took him out before he can even touch down. And then, of course, there's this battle here, a battle of who can get the best drop. And what a great way to kick things off. Such a powerful loadout to really start things here.
Yeah, and it does look like Baka and Onwin making yet another adjustment. They win the off-spawn fight in game 1. They lose it in game 2. And this time around, they're not even contesting for a fight, but blink and you might have missed it. A first elimination is going to be on to Looter, so Smite and Larson are finding ways to get things done again.
NA fires back first onto OCE here, and a great find, a great reward comes out of the very little time Larson and Smite had to loot up there. Take a look at these loadouts. It all comes together for them now. Sometimes it's all it takes, right? Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of luck. You get the right loot, you're able to take that fight, that fight nice and fast and clean it up.
You can see now the picking and choosing comes through. They're going to slow things down, try to loot up as much as possible, making their way in towards one of the only houses towards Grim Gables, and you can kind of see in the distance, Muzz is still floating around, and he's not trying to cause too much commotion and put the focus onto him. He's just trying to wait for Smite and Larson to leave so he can try to get that free reboot onto Looter.
All this pressure onto Muzz's shoulders now, as he is trying to wriggle his way through this low ground here. He knows that material is going to be the key to allowing him to do something big here, achieve the unthinkable, win a 1v2 against Smite and Larson, who built their entire reputation this last chapter off of these early game fights. Smite wants none of that. He walks to the wall. Muzz, you're great, but how good? And no, Smite and Larson come out on top. They clean things up for 2 games in a row now and earn themselves a little bit more.
And as soon as Mr. Savage gives up a little bit of the high ground on when Bach immediately trying to take it over, him and iDrop are separated just a little bit, and that could have been a perfect opportunity for them to strike, but everybody is just biding for time, biding for that perfect moment so that they can pounce. And this one that we talked about, you heard it from Mr. Savage, you heard it from iDrop. I've been landing here for a year straight. No one is going to scare me off.
Well, the real question is iDrop walling out right now? He is getting very close to Onwin and Baka. But no, now he decides, all right, I'll listen to you, Savage. I'll come on down, but you have to meet me down here as well. And they start to retreat here. And this might just end, but no, Baka steps up, but Savage is so quick. What a shot right there. And now he turns the tables around. Eyedrop looking to meet them down here. A great pre-fire, but not enough to find a tag. And all of a sudden, now they reevaluate.
Yeah, I like the outside of the box thinking coming out for a couple of players in the game already, bringing out their protractors, trying to find that extra angle. And that's the thing, if you have all that confidence in your teammate as a solo, you'll allow them to kind of play with the angles, play with the high ground, and try to see what they can get. And they get 149 damage, disappearing off the back of On1. Another shot's gonna be fired. Hey, Wap goes down. It's a 1v1. Mr. Savage versus On1.
Savage wants none of it. He wants none of it. He finishes it up. And just like that, 2 games now, he's back in it. Meanwhile, Malabuk and Merstash, one of the greatest duos we expected to show up today, put on such a performance, have been met with so much resistance every single turn. There's a new great team waiting for them. This has been probably their least favorite duo to meet, though.
Yeah,
Chapik and Tayson.
It does look like they're fighting over the vault that is right below them. Doesn't want to let that one go easy. But you got to be careful because there's a third team landing towards Cloudy Condos, another team towards the north in the form of Kanata and Macwood that could be lending that helping hand, trying to get that Storm Surge damage for themselves and make your job that much harder for Malabuk and Mustache. It's all about trying to find the perfect angle, trying to find that information so they can try to catch a player off guard, because we already know they're one of the most aggressive teams in this lobby.
See it. You're waiting, trying to capitalize on any opportunity here. We all know what Tayson is capable of. One of the most winningest players in the European region. He has done it all. He has proven it all. All that's left is for him to show up in person and put the numbers up. But it's no easy task right now. Malabuk and Merstash are so good playing defensively right now. They're doing a great job, but Tayson is slowly, inch by inch, getting closer and closer.
You don't let that piece control go over. Tayson has tried a few times, but you try again. Eventually you'll find some success. They're able to take it just for a few seconds, but the longer you fight this far out of zone, it's gonna get more and more dangerous because we got a little bit of a north zone going on. These guys are gonna have to end this one sooner than later, even if they both choose to disengage.
Merstash fighting back here, trying to regain the walls here.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Huge tackle from Chapik here, nicely done. He's gonna open things up, allow him to get some more territory, and closer he walks, but Tayson fights back. The 4X FNCS champion is all of a sudden now with his back against the wall here. But no, he's hurt. Malabuka says, forget that, and takes him down. And now it's up to Merstash, and no, he finishes it off too. And Chapik is left running, trapped now, inside the box. Oxygen starting to run out. He fights back, but for how much longer? Chapik does so much damage, he loses the wall. And no more shield now, and it's all over. Chapik and Tayson fall.
And for Malabuk and Merstash, that is huge. Because not only does it get you elimination points, it gets you the Storm Surge, so you don't have to worry about it later in the game as Chimp and Scram trying to get things going for them. Chimp, one of the most consistent players in NA East. You got Pamsu and Batch on the other side, also from NA East, so they have a lot of familiarity in terms of fighting against each other. Scram is going to be the odd man out, and you see him trying to find some separation because him and Chimp are not that close together. And all it takes is for both of them to kind of bum rush into one box and kind of end their run.
Now jumping over to the other side of the map, as we all know, this area, one of the most hotly contested zones right now, Tilted Towers, at every single in-person event, has always been the home of fireworks. And Chicho and Trulix are looking to go ahead and see what they can spark up nearby, but that's not going to be anything. On the other side, NA West cooling Yumi. One of the few teams on NA West showing up in the top 10 so far.
Yeah, had a fantastic game, number one, third place. Cool, got to be living on a prayer right now because for him, he 1v2'd. Unfortunately enough, he was unable to get Yumi up in that game. He had to finish it off as a solo. And for this duo, it's kind of slow and steady. They land out here towards the island, a little uncontested. They might have one team just a little bit south. For them, it's about getting the resources, looting up, and then they go on the top of the Mighty Monument to find their surge before they eventually try to rotate out.
Robob and Walks now, stepping up. They're chasing down Peppo here.
Runa's already gone, too.
And of course, Runa, yeah, way off in the distance
No,
here.
he's gone. He's out. He's watching.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be good. Bob. Forced to kind of in a defensive position. Walks trying to alleviate some of that pressure. Peppo doing all he can. One of the best in his region, but while it does look like it's going to be taken, walks with a huge shot. Runa and Peppo go down in 45th place.
Tough spot to be in for Runa and Peppo. One of the few representatives for the Asia region have now been taken out. Cold and Sensen on the other side after a hot win there are now positioned up dead center, and it seems like they have done enough. This villain story that we've seen unfold over the weekend, contested in the lead up. Malibu and Mercer still problems on the horizon. Could it be, of course, Bugha and Miro who were looking off and picked them off?
I knew they were going to go on top of the Mighty Monument to try to get the Storm Surge, but great minds think alike. Peterbot and Jamper from NA East beat them to it and took down one of the players from the NA West Championship duo. It's going to leave Cool by himself yet again, but how many 1v2s can you take?
This is Peterbot, though. Put some respect on his name, and he makes it look easy. It's just like that. Jamper and Peterbot earn themselves a huge elimination onto a team inside the top 10. What an Elan.
And for them, you got to think Peterbot and Jamper don't have to worry about Storm Surge in the immediate future, but you know how active this lobby is. They got to start thinking about it later on in the game once they find that rotation.
Well, listen, we have Mini Miner here to update us on more action.
Thank you so much, Monster. Now, this is a prime example as to how to finish a fight quickly, right? We know PH Scene and Ketos are fighting in the middle of the map. They need to finish this fight quickly, and look at that. Pinching from both angles, getting that Storm Surge done early, as well as bolstering their loot. Look out for this team for the rest of the game.
And that is such a huge set of elims there, because that's another team that is huge, like honestly showing up for the Brazilian region. PHN and Ketos, man, wait for them to just really show out. You know, the discussion and lead up to this entire event was things are going to be easier. You know, let's not respect these guys. And now all of a sudden they're saying, hold up. No, hold my water. Hold my mini shield. Let me show you what I'm capable of. And I am so impressed by what we have seen so far.
And you're seeing a lot more activity in this game than the previous two, because they're starting to fill each other out. They're realizing how hard it is to get Storm Surge later on in the game, so they're trying to get it as early as possible, so that when they end up in those close zones, they're boxed up, they can pick and choose when they have to peek, instead of Storm Surge saying you have to go or you're going to go back to the lobby.
Vidio, no stranger to victory royales, but falling very much short so far. You saw the standings there, 4 points separating first and second. Still a very much competitive competition, but EU has taken big strides to start leading the pack here. Pamsu and Thatch are solid, but let's get on over to Clix and Duke here. They've had such an uphill battle fighting their way out of the Joneses against Pink and Anas, and we've already seen it has not been easy for them.
35 below the damage threshold. For them, they have to worry about it, yes, but it's such a low number. They're just trying to get ahead of a lot of the rest of the teams, so that way they can easily try to look back. And shot still coming in from the high ground. There goes Duke trying to poke a couple of shots. He finds some good damage, but takes some as well. Going to be above the damage threshold. So once again, they can find a way to kind of rotate forward. And I want to see them do that now, because history says when Clix and Duke fall behind the zone, they somehow find a way to kind of not have those good games.
I think the player base tends to forget, the scene tends to forget. Clix has also competed in the World Cup for solos and duos. This is where it all began for him so many years ago. And just look at the difference now. All grown up here at the international stage, still competing at the highest caliber. For Mareem and Zagu, similar stories. They've been putting in work for a very long time, but look at this. Tough right now. This is the worst we've seen them.
Yeah, we're pretty active in game number 1. Trying to do it again in game number 2. Game number 3, 164 below the damage threshold. The lucky thing for them is not only are they right at the edge of zone, they have rotation right above them, they have elevation right above them, so they're going to be able to kind of lay their eyes on the land and try to find the shot. But Bevy and Vortex was under siege yet again. Luckily for them, they're 153 above the damage threshold, so they can pick and choose. Do we fight this here? Do we kind of wait a little bit longer? And it looks like they're just going to peek, try to get even more surge, and hunt down these teams as Vortex takes a huge amount of damage.
Vortex versus Vortexers for a second there. Don't be confused. Two very different duos. Kanata and Macwood, though, are alive right now. We've seen them put up some exceptional performances today so far, especially in that game 1. They were the upset to Bugha and Miro. Game 2, not quite where they wanted to be, but this here is a chance at redemption. They find Robab and Walk on the edge of zone. Malabuka from the Storm to the new safety of the zone. It's not looking good, though. He has lost his teammate.
Yeah, early games, they were below on damage, not getting too aggressive. And you see the Asian duo taking out Brazil as well. King went down, but that's Jason Basil above Malabuka. Do they know he's weak? That is the biggest thing, because if they know he's a solo and they know he has a total of 86 HP and shields, you know as well as I do, they're probably going to go, but that's information that they lack.
Well, don't yell too loud. Let's go ahead and jump into Bad Sniper and Noah Riley right now. They're starting to eye up the competition on the other side of the wall as well. You can see they're just looking, but hey man, there's something about these extremely healthy builds. You know, no one really wants to fully commit a full mag inside. You have to start deciding for yourself. Are they in a world of trouble? Can I actually do it? And Bad Sniper says, instincts speak louder here. I want to step up. I want to take this fight right now.
He heard Fab's shield get cracked by Storm Surge, and he immediately looked that direction. Bad Sniper and Noah Riley coming out with a vengeance here in game number 3. Right around the corner, though, you got to watch out. Cammy and Seti is there, but back on board this fight where Malabuka is still alive by himself. Jason Basil, they're trying to attack right now, but Malabuka doing a good job trying. He's doing everything that he can. Pressure from so many angles. Is he going to be able to escape?
Let's see it go down. Jason Basil have an incredible win rate in these close game battles in the early zones, and look at that. All of a sudden now they add to it, padding the stat, making it look nice and solid. Clicks and Duke thought about it. They say, no, OCE boys, you got it. I'm getting out of here. And that is so much respect, because they are so far below the surge as well. They could have easily stood there and fight. They need it more than anyone. As to, oh my gosh, our game leaders, Seti and Cammy, are actually below the surge. This is so bad for them.
They just need to be able to find a position front side of zone, but they think it's the less traveled, but there's so many teams in front of them. 3 directly on the right, 3 directly on the left.
Oh, no.
1 is behind them, and it's hot on their heels. That's Noah Riley, that's Bad Sniper. Huge shot by Cammy, box to box, he's knocking on the door. He wants to finish this one off inside of Storm. Nobody really having HP to kind of regenerate, and Cammy and Seti go down.
And Bad Sniper gets to represent for France. They're taking down our Polish duo alongside Noah Riley as well. Way to do it there. Switzerland has to be happy, but let's jump on over to Rizan, who is, of course, representing for the EU side and Germany. But let's see it. Aqua looks for something. He's got Duke in his sights, but Duke claps back, and Aqua's hurt. He loses reason, but Aqua manages to find a 2-for-1 special and cleans things up.
Yeah, Duke with his getting chunked out by the zone. He had 2 players hot on his heels. It's not the exact position you want to be in, but these guys can show up at any moment in any game. But for them, they're down 3.
And 1 shot, 2 elims, a very rare occurrence.
When you're that good, you're that good.
That is true. Here's an ass pink. We already know. Now, their biggest problems are down. They're out. Kitos and PHN, here they are, looking to continue to hold their position. They're 100 above the surge. They are just around that top 5 position leading into game 3, what is almost the halfway mark of the competition. And Brazil could not be prouder to have them representing here.
See, jumping on board, Rob Bob Kebab, who's already down. He is out. Chimp's going to be able to get 2 more points in the elimination for himself, including Storm Surge, his walks. He has no shield. He has no HP to regenerate. Just 50 HP total left to his name, and those 2 launch pads. But that's also what worries me, is those 2 launch pads, because he has a far rotation to go, and he's going to have to probably use both of them with short pads in order to get there.
That's right. He's looking to go ahead and make that move. There's nothing in front of him. Meanwhile, Miro and Bugha, decisions for them as well. How do they want to move out? They hear the launch pad go off. They say, hey, let's save ours. Come up here. Let's go ahead and recycle that. Can they find it? There it is. They do get it. And they go in the opposite direction. That is the difference in strategy. Miro and Bugha go right. Closest way of least resistance directly to the zone. Watts stood far left.
And that probably would have been the saving grace, because he ran into Aqua and Reason, who immediately took him down. His threats is going to fall as well. Pablo gets taken down to Brazil's Kitos. Alex going ahead and taking down TSM Reed. so much action going down around the lobby as Bugha and Mero are trying to find that sweet spot. Because you know as well as I do, as long as they make it to end zone, those eliminations will naturally present itself.
This is a team that has struggled in the early instances of the chapter this season, but they have managed to find their way into such a great position. But now, let's jump on over to some of the GOATs. Vino and Queasy, two Elans already poising themselves up for an excellent game here. Near max material, so they have to be coming just off of a fresh refresh right there. Quite literally bounce them back in the game. And man, you don't see this very often where it's your drop spot where you start off and the zone just lands directly on top of you. So they are being served up.
Yep. And right now, for an end zone like this, when it is on your drop spot, you already know how to traverse every piece of terrain that is around as Kito's still trying to do wonders. Not a lot of HP on PHN, so these guys down on damage in terms of Storm Surge have to figure out what they're going to do, because if they wait too much longer, they will be down. They will be out.
Well, here it is. Luckily for them, the threshold is met, and they do not have to fight, but they know what's in front of them now. They have a huge monumental task to step up here. You can see there, that's a wall that cannot be built there. Here it is. So it's all or nothing now, right? We know the Brazilian region to be one of the most aggressive. PHN is literally tied for third for the most FNCS champions individually in his region and globally. So that's a team that has everything to play for right now. But jumping over to Zagu and Marine, they're still alive right now. Some of Japan's best are here.
Tripper and Thomas HD, one of EU's best as well. And honestly, one of the fan favorites to take it off, 296 above the damage threshold. Joe and ZAndy right in front of him. Piece control is going to be important towards this end game, because if you go into the wrong box at the wrong time, they're going to take you out, and they're just trying to gather that information. They know they don't have far to go as the shot's going to be fired and landed onto Hen, who's dropped down to about 50 HP. And with that, you see other teams taking notice, and they're also putting that pressure on.
Trippin has full trust in his teammates, but their Elim gets sniped up right there. It's Zagu and Marine who are just coming out and literally reaping the benefits, taking all the spoils. Edgy and Acorn have high ground right now. What in the world? An excellent game. 1 second place finish, leading into game 3 in a such dominant position right now.
Yeah, and I was one of those people last season saying Edgy can do it on NAEs, try to be the 2 region champion. What would you call that here? Would he be the 7 region champion, 8 region champion if he wins this?
I mean, at this point, he's looking to break that second place curse too. He wants to make sure he gets one for Queasy and Vino caught lacking. Don't forget, they were the most stacked duo in this lobby. This is their home position, the drop spot of Shiny Sound. And now all of that luck and hard work, preparation out the window.
Yeah, it was 2 different teams, one from Asia, one from EU. They actually got an elimination each on the team, as Scented and Cole trying to get to that front side of zone. They have that victory royale in the last game, 32 above the damage threshold. Luckily for them, not too many players have to go down before they go ahead and have to not worry about it. It's Aqua, Reason, not too much to worry about in terms of Storm Surge, but they have to find that sweet spot in zone. They're gonna use the launch pad to get there.
When you see Reason and Aqua looking up, you know there's only one thing in front of them. How can we take this high ground? Tripper, though, has a problem in front of him. He gets punished. He backs up. Great defensive maneuvers right now. Okay, and Thomas takes the lead. He says, hey, you go ahead. Pause down, heal. I'll continue to tarp out. We have the zone right here. See Andy and Joe, even with a messed up finger, Joe is not going to allow him to stop playing for the big positions right now, and he's got this high ground. It doesn't even look like it's been affecting him at all. Yeah. Look at this, 3 Elans.
Bugha starts loads out. He had all the mats to hold on to that high ground with 7 moving zone, even if it's contested. Reason A and Aqua trying to fight for it, but they're going to get stuffed. They're going to get shut down for now, and you can see the pressure from Joe and ZAndy. They're looking towards the backside of zone, and they're putting shots on players who are suffering the Storm Surge.
Oh, he goes for the low pad. Aqua wants to get down to the low ground here. No reason to play for the builds. He doesn't have enough to make it. Is Reason behind him is the real question. Meanwhile, another endgame for Kitos and PHN. They have 4 Elans. representing for Brazil right now, and they are almost inching their way to the top 10 right now, but Cold and Scented are right in front of them. This is where they do the most work. This is where they play best.
Yeah, they're just recycling a lot of those builds towards the low ground. Trippin trying to take that cheeky shot to the backside of zone. Elevation up. Thomas HD probably leading the charge, making sure that these guys are on the same page through and through. Bugha backside of zone. 2 med miss. He's just trying to go ahead and stagger himself out, and he found an elimination onto Ju. More HP for him, and look at the resources he found.
And it's huge right now. He is managing to fight his way through. He finds another one there in the zone. A huge tag is going to keep him alive right now. And look at him start to sprint here. But no, he's hunted down and taken out back by Thomas HD. And all of a sudden now Thomas has all the extra refreshes here, but he's starting to run out. Is he going to go for low ground, or is he going to continue to hold out here? Reason has a decision to make as well. Off to the side he goes. This player's in front. Cold is down. We saw that exchange. It's a big one.
Yep, he's just trying to stay alive. Reason's doing a good job staying ahead of zone. And now he just has to med minute stuff to find a way to stabilize. It's Thomas HD. He's trying to stagger himself towards the backside of zone, running out of ticks onto that med miss. A huge shot's going to be fired. Thomas HD is trying to stay alive, but he goes down. Zagu from Asia strikes again.
It's just not enough. Zagu says, I am here to play and put some respect on us. Scented is going to fall to EU Scram. And again, Zagu is now by himself. Chrome Flash comes out. He finds his teammate. Does he get the save? Now this is what you want to see. A big save here in the ultimate low could change the entire story.
This could be huge for Asia. This could be huge for Zagu and Miram. But Joe and Ziani, they have the high ground. Oh no, he wasn't able to get the revive off. This is going to be huge. He's the only solo left in the world of duos.
Oh no, but he knows that's enemy build. He goes up, the side jump. He has enough. He takes high ground, but no. Ziani is here to back them up. He goes for the falling shot, doesn't quite find it. Chimp and Scram, Heal this going down, and they are having an opportunity here, but no. Chimp does not take advantage. He is now by himself. He has lost his teammate. Can he find a steal of points here? He's looking for it. Zagu jumps to the ultimate low. Chimp's trying to time his exit, and he gets caught out, and down he goes. Z, Andy, and Joe now have 8 eliminations and a win set up potentially in front of them.
Yeah, 2v1 situation. EU versus Asia, and for Zagu, this man has the world on his shoulders. Just a sliver of HP, a little bit of shield, and it's not going to be enough. Joe and Z, Andy take game number 3.
EU claps back once again and takes game 3 with the big win finish there. But what a performance for Zagu and Marine to show up. That is an incredible way for them to go ahead and make a statement today.
Yeah, incredible indeed, because it's all about consistency, not necessarily getting a victory royale in every single game. If they can keep this up at this pace, it'll do wonders. But for EU, Joe and Z...
We are ready, everyone. Let's go to game number 4.
Now that's what we like to see. Let's go ahead and just pick things up and get right to it. Game 4 is underway. The players are already landed off the battle bus. If you were walking around, take a seat because it's time to get into the action.
And it's already looking like Kanata trying to get busy. Taking down Vortexers for the first elimination of the game. Ascented trying to put shots on into the distance. It does look like Cole got a knock onto Pars. The angles and the pressure is already coming out. These guys have been battling all weekend long for that contested drop spot in the middle islands. And with Pars dropping, Raze has the world of pressure on his shoulder in this game.
And it's so crazy because we didn't think they were going to be able to do it.
Nope.
Get past this, what feels like crazy hurdle. Being contested on an in-person event should honestly cross you out of the equation here, but not for these competitors. They don't let that little inconvenience stop them. If anything, they weaponize it. They've turned it into surge tags. They've turned it into great standings. Even Zagu and Marine here from Team Alba representing for their entire region at the Rave Cave.
Yep, this is huge. You got Thomas HD and Triprin, Commandment and Avery all landing towards the Rave Cave. Luckily enough, this is one of the biggest POIs with a ton of loot to go around. And you're kind of seeing not too many early game fights going down over there as Kitos and PH Zin trying to have that early game that they want, because for them, they've been doing so consistent lately out of this drop spot. Not too much contesting going by. Vi and for their Storm Surge, they have so many players around them so they can gather it.
Now, what's crazy is that the story of Brazil is W key, but not for them. They've made all their points through placement. They actually have some of the lowest eliminations overall. When you stand them against the others inside the top 5, they're actually at the lower spectrum. But Vico and Marine here starting to get into some dangerous territory. You can see the reality tree is no free position by any means. You have Retake and crew up above, Z-Andy and Joe, who have just taken home a huge moment and win for themselves, are now poised up at the sign-up station just south of Booga and Miro.
Yeah, and right now, even though they have uncontested drop, it almost makes me wonder with the zone kind of being towards the northeast portion. I was going to say exactly this, what Grim Gable looks like for Larssen and Smite, who actually did win that off-spawn exchange last game against Buzz and Looter, trying to have that repeat success here in this game. But right now, they're just kind of taking their time. They're high up on the mountain, so they got to be careful for those third-party attempts to come through.
Now, Muzz and Looter are playing potentially spoiler here outside the Grim Gables, because we have this Larssen and Smite duo who have fought their way on up to 7th. And again, Elims are the name of the game for Larssen and Smite, but this is where they have built their reputation, fighting in the early game, managing to get so much experience being contested season after season. It started way back north where Vino and Queasy are, but hold up, Larssen finds one, the trade is good, and Smite gets the other, and down goes OCE, Muzz, and Looter.
That was a fantastic play by Larssen, reading him like a book. He turned the page and got an elimination as Mr. Savage strikes again. On1 goes down. Baka has to go ahead and figure out what to do next as iDrop's trying to get those angles. Right now, they're just trying to alleviate the pressure, but the Brazilian duo that you're talking about, King and Mr. Savage, they're looming in the distance, waiting for that perfect moment to strike.
And that's right. This is such a huge opportunity. Now, remember, they land just west of the Chrome Jam Junction. For them to come in, sweep things up, could change the story around. There it is. They open up with a couple tags, but iDrop gets to the loot first. He's got the refresh. He's got a little more material, and you have to assume King and Ed are just a little bit more positioned and ready for this, but a good defense, a good bluff is all you need here to back them off, and it is going to be enough. King and Ed don't get to show us what they're made of in a clean 2v2.
Another team's kind of floating in towards Chrome Jam. That is the Asian powerhouse. But over here, towards the island, towards Mighty Monument, you have the FNCS, NA West champions, trying to have that repeat performance in game number 1. That's Basil, that's Chase, that are under pressure. High ground is seemingly right now cemented to the PSG TNA duo.
Now Yuumi is very solid. Cool's gonna find Jason to feed there. It's up to Basselby, and South Basil has no teammate to work with here, and he is trapped inside this stone build here. This is a very tough tower to play out of. Awkward positions to build, and the terrain gets extremely weird. He does drop a few layers, but there's only 2 exits, and one of them's cut off by tons of enemy territory. So look at this. He goes out the back with the windows there, and that is that game knowledge kicking in there. Yuumi and Core looking so solid. This is what they do on a day-to-day basis, isn't it, Jacob?
Yep, this is exactly what they came to do here with that stunning performance last season. Even though it was a 2-day competition, they ran away with it on day 1, and when push came to shove, they held on to it in day 2 to take home that crown. But you can kind of see the Brazilian duo slowing things down just a little bit. They thought it was going to be an easy third party on a Mr. Savage and Baka and On1, but it wasn't as easy as we thought.
Definitely, and of course, plenty of highlights as well. Let's get caught up with how this unplayed and unfolded. So On1 just gets snuck up on there. You saw all the Chrome builds. He says, no, I'm not going through that. We're going to go and take the easy path here.
But that's exactly what iDrop was kind of talking about. He said, I've been dropping here for 12 months.
Right.
I'm ready to fight. I'm not splitting loot. I came to take what's mine. And he does it game after game after game. If they can keep up this type of consistency, mix that with an opportunity to take the end game, this is a recipe for a duo that can catch fire at any moment. Because you got to remember, one of the last in-person events that we had, not the last one, but one of the last, Mr. Savage took it out on top. You had Bizzle in second, and the placements down far after.
That's right, but look at this. Seti and Cammy going to the old trusty right on top of this air blimp. This is what you expect. This is a huge double-edged sword here where you expose yourself, but you just open up the entire terrain before you. As we jump on over to Kitos and BH in here, looking absolutely phenomenal. They have more eliminations against players inside the top 10 than any other duo, just showing us exactly what they are capable and made of.
This is literally the story of them on their region as well. They consistently take out teams at the top, and that is perfect preparation for a lobby like this, because you got to think the Brazil region, they're fighters. They love to fight, and right now they're playing against the best, and it's working out.
Let's talk a little bit about this zone for a second here. For the first time now, we see a little northern pull off to the east, so we get another kind of shake-up. So the last time we went to Shiny, it didn't quite work out for Vino and Queasy, but what we did see was that they were so just suited for a big game. And now that we know that, it should be the same story. But let's get on over to Lustrous Lagoon here. It's crazy to me how Runa and Pepo have demanded so much respect from this entire regional competition that no one has decided to contest them here at the Lagoon. We've known in seasons past, this is a hot spot.
Yeah, and I love how they're playing. They know exactly what happens to any team in Lustrous Lagoon if they have it uncontested. You take too long to lose, these other team on the outskirts will begin to climb up onto that mountain and put the shots down. They met Chimp and Scram there. They don't want to let anything go easy in a lobby like this, but Chimp, you can kind of see him crouching down, biding his time, trying to minimize the audio that he does give out, reuniting with Scram, trying to get that elevation in, but no opportunity is going to be given up by Runa and Pepo.
Love the focus that we're seeing from Chimp right now as he is starting to line up Runa and Pepo here. Not afraid of taking a fight, but also playing extremely smart. He does have the slight disadvantage, but Runa swings the thing around there. He says, hold up. Might just go up for high ground. Meanwhile, Queasy looking for tags here in the distance. So there is all types of battles starting to shape up and potentially heat out right now. And remember, this is all in loom of potential storm surge, right?
Scram, Chimp, still in that high ground fight. The thing is, they're in zone. Every team that landed south is going to come here on this side. This is going to be the most congested side of the map, Monster. They have to be careful. They got to start looking to end this fight quick, whether it's taking the actual fight or just trying to disengage.
Zagu doesn't stop, though. He finds Falconer in the feed there while this fight is raging on here. Chimp still looking around, just saying, hey, Scram, I trust you. Do your thing. Take that toe-to-toe. Keep them busy. Meanwhile, Chimp's like, I'll look for tags in the distance, make sure no one sneaks up. The confidence to trust in Scram to play by himself here.
Zagu, team from Asia. You see Hellfire and Falconer in the distance. The shots just coming in.
Gosh.
You can see how he went down. He had no choice but to go forward. Storm was going to eat him alive. And I think that's still Queasy and Vino on top of the blimp, lending that helping hand inadvertently.
And then they just W key straight across as well. They're like, you're not going to get that save whether you want to or not. We're here to fight, and we're going to make sure we solidify the elim. That will effectively allow them to take first place, breaking the tie. Now, Vino and Queasy, of course, are just behind them, and this is going to become a matter of who can survive the longest and play the best, of course. So this is still a moment, and big decision to make. Chrome Splash, the launch pad. It looks like they dropped him.
What are you choosing? I like the Chrome Splashes personally.
I'm trusting in their gut. It doesn't matter what I want. They got the launch pad. I want the launch pad too.
Go ahead. Actually does give you options, short pad. You can do the high pad. You can go ahead and try to take high ground to be able to hold on it towards the end game. And this is going to be the first instance of Storm Surge in game number 4 that we're going to see. All day long, we've seen teams not necessarily manage it the best, and that being the sole focus of why they get down. But game number 3, Victory Royale winners, Joe and Ziandy, 58 below the damage threshold and continuously falling.
Now, they did win a game, but that's not enough to stay in. You have to continue to perform. And maybe, just maybe, that long-awaited break has allowed other teams to figure it out. Hit that drawing board. They're slowly slipping down now. 91 below here, but the longer they wait, the more likely enemies are to set up. So they have to get going. Off to the air vent they go. Can they get there in time? He misses it just slightly, but Joe fights back. And he doesn't miss. How quick was the setup there? Nicely done. That little bit of defense is something, sometimes all you need to go in and buy you some time.
But they're still 46 below the damage threshold. They have a lot more room to cover as well, but luckily for them, they have the Chili Chug Splash. They have the Mighty Monument.
Oh,
as Nico has an elimination onto Miriam. Can he be able to clean that one up and get the spoils after that falls all together? Moraine and Vico really trying to show up this game, and you talked about it during that break about how stacked that top of the leaderboard actually is.
And it looks like they were waiting around just a little too long. They try to bait out the vault, and instead they get punished. And now Zagu is by himself. The shield bubble is going to buy him some time, but it's only a matter of time. If he stays there, yes, they're just going to 2v1 him. He goes up for high ground, and he's trying to get on out of here. Vico and Moraine decide better. They say, all right, I'm okay with that. With Swag and Pablo here, let's just get to the new storm. Let's get safe, and that's what they do first. But it is not looking good for our first place team now.
Yeah, so many teams just barely on the threshold, either above or below, as Runa and Peppo trying to keep things going. They are 244 below the damage threshold, going up against Peak and Anas, who've also had their own struggles when it comes to Storm Surge. This could be a good fight for both of them. A huge shot coming out of Peppo. Peak and Anas, they have their backs up against the wall, trying to get out alive, but the backfire comes through. Badil gets an elimination as well. Everybody in this fight is under siege. Peak, with his back up against the wall, takes them both down.
And EU takes down Asia in a 2v2 head-to-head with no interference in the distance. Chapix cleans things up onto Z, Andy, and Joe are Game 3 winners. And now Chapix and Tayson continue to play upset. Let's just take a look at the highlight. How did it all go down? He walks up. Man, this is why Chapix is so good. This is what he did in the World Cup. This is what he's doing here now. And, ooh, you can see the pain. That was a tough one.
Yeah, that's definitely tough here. But luckily for them, they did get that victory royale. They're at the top side of the leaderboard. One bad game does not decide your future. As Queasy and Vino under siege yet again. Just a sliver of HP. Storm Surge doing its wonders, but they have 10 splashes. But Vino has to try to get him out. That means Queasy has to alleviate some of the pressure with the build. But shots coming in from the distance. Luckily for them, it's another team that is struggling to surge, so they're not the sole focus of the lobby just yet.
Now, this is insane. First place has already lost a teammate. Now, Vino and Queasy, who are in second, just points behind, are so hurt here. And the surge is continuing. They will have to take this fight. That's not an easy duo, and that one isn't either. This is looking very, very tough now for Queasy and Vino.
As Merrim gets knocked down again to Edgy. They're just going through it this game. We talk about consistency being the key. 44 below the damage threshold. Commandment and Avery become the targets to Queasy and Vino, but how long can they last? Just only a few ticks away. The short pad coming through. They get the damage, but is it going to be enough to go above the damage threshold? Yo, it is not, but it is finally at the tail end. Barely going to be enough. Launch pad going out. They're going to live, Monster, to fight another day.
How did Queasy survive that with 1 HP, and now he gets to fight back just a little bit here? Can he find anything? Was there something left behind? They should know better. This is their landing spot. This is their home territory, and they're just going to go ahead and look for scraps now. And just like that, they knew what they left behind, and they are going to be back in this game in no time.
Some of the biggest brains in Fortnite to kind of remember something like that. That is outside of the box thinking, but the Storm Surge has not left them just yet. 49 still below the damage threshold. Commandment and Avery, I don't know how they made it out alive either, but they're still doing a good job this time around. 187 above the damage threshold. Let's see what they can do when it's not going to be a worry.
Let's not forget, these are our previous NA East champions, but hold up, Vino says we need some E-lins, but no, he gets taken out with Queasy. It's up to him, and he falls too, and all of a sudden, Vino and Queasy are down, and Zagu is there to play in the mess here. He is putting his own thoughts into the battle. He is not giving up. And this is an opportunity now. Look at Zagu's HP. He is so off to the side, and now he turns and burns. He's like, yeah, I'm going to leave it to you, Avery. I'm going to leave it to you, Commandment. You guys can have it, but it's Savage and iDrop who get all the loot.
Yeah, and that's huge for the loot for Savage and iDrop, because now they can kind of pick and choose. You see, he still has some bandages there, so he's trying to look for something else to maybe trade it off. But with 2 launch pads, the zone right now is not going to be a worry at all, especially since Commandment and Avery are already making their rotation outward. But another team landing towards Cloudy combos, Malabuka and Merstash.
So let's think about this, right? Third place is out. Joe and Zandy are out. That's going to allow things to get really competitive at the top. But now that we see Queasy and Vino crossed out as well, it is that much closer here. Let's take a look at these quick highlights here. How are they so far ahead of the Surge? Well, there you go. you ask and you receive. Jamper just gets clotheslined without any notice.
It almost looks like they were thinking the same thing. Let me knock on this door, take this piece away, but Jamper was just a little bit too slow to the punch. Throws Rifty, trying to fly high to the sky, Trippin and Thomas. It's like target practice for them as Macwood does go down to Hydro, and there goes the leaderboard 5th through 9th. Look how stacked it is. Only 8 points separating those teams.
And remember, Joe and Andy are down and out. Zagu has jumped back into the game here.
Impressive.
46 damage above the surge. All he has to do is out-survive 2 players, and you would think it would not be possible, but he has found his way back into this game here, and he is still getting that much more lucky. Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of luck, and look at the heals come back to reward him here. He's going to hold on and continue to earn. Seti and Cammy have an opportunity to go ahead and close this gap. They lost out on it at the last game, falling short. But as we know, they're slow, they're steady.
Yeah, for them, it's not just chasing after elimination. They're not forcing any of these plays. Like you said, slow and steady wins the race. And for them, they let these opportunities naturally present itself while gathering all the information in the lobby. They know exactly what to do as long as they're not playing with their backs up against the wall. Clix and Duke, another highly skilled team, 353 above the damage threshold. They already have an elimination. For them, it's just making it to the end game itself.
And it's crazy to show the disparity, the point difference between Clix and Duke there, and first place, 47 points separate, 20th from first. It shows you that's about a 2-game spread. You have to play very, very well, but it also shows you one big win, and you're inside the top 10 undoubtedly. You are very much right back into this game if you can just get one.
Yeah, mindset and handling this pressure is going to be huge because it's easy. You know, 12 games, being in a stage like this, you go down early, it starts to sink in that doubt. It's easy to believe in that doubt, but right now, you guys are the best on that stage. You need to snap yourselves out of it and really pick it back up because this is game 4 out of 12. You have every chance in the world to make a comeback.
Two and Yusra have been contested on the drop to the hands of OCE, Alex and Bailey. We have seen what they have managed to do all day. They are an exceptional duo. And finally now, Yusri and Duke get to show us what they are made of. They are playing for high ground, but they're below the surge. They're going to have to take a box fight. The wall's his, but not quick enough on the edit there. And instead, he backs off. What do you do in this situation? Do you look around or take a box fight is the question. And Duke says, hold that thought. Let me go ahead and get these tags real quick.
Don't worry, Monster. I got you. You ask a question, I'll definitely give you an answer in a moment. 48 above the damage threshold. They know their job is not done just yet, but they can at least slow things down. Start to gather the information like a lot of these other teams are going to be needing, but them having the high ground of Maple Zone, they're going to be in the perfect position to terrorize the rest of the lobby.
Smite and Larson still alive here. They came in at 7th place. 3 elims added on to where they left off. Now effectively has to jump them on up for a fight for top 3. Potentially first as well. I have a question though. Is Zagu still alive? Snaking his way around the game. We're going to have to find out. Sensitive and Cold often in an end game. That consistency paying off right now as we know it should. Sensitive and Cold are just proving that they are so good at Fortnite, no matter what the setting is, online or in person.
The team, after that first game, is finally finding their rhythm. 251 above the damage threshold. 3 eliminations so far. 3 Chili Truck splashes onto Merstash. So you got to imagine on the other side, probably having some rotation as well. But Sentin and Cold right now trying to find a way to stabilize. 29 below the damage threshold. Luckily for them, though, that's not too much. That's one good shot, but the same thing happens to them. They're under pressure. 19 HP, trying to get the splashes off, but now Zone is kicking them out. Cold goes down. It's all to Sentin.
And it looks like Acorn and Edgy were just waiting for that wall to open up, and there it is. Acorn is the one who finds Cold, and Sentin is now left to do it by himself, but he has been here before. That is where he feels most comfortable. Meanwhile, Pink and Anas, they have so much catching up to do. They have already picked up 5 elims. This is exactly the type of pacing they want to be on coming into an end game. But Cammy and Seti are here in the mid-ground. P18 and Kitos are there as well. This is one of the most dangerous layers that we have seen, and it's players who are fighting to get that #1 spot.
but Sentit was able to take down Thor, but he needs that Siphon to come through, and it goes in just in the nick of time, trying to stay alive. Chili Chuck Splash to try to go ahead and gain the speed to get to the outside of zone. Somehow it knocks us down. You got to thank Commandment Avery for that one. So now he's left as a solo. What can he do with only 3 builds to his name?
And they take high ground again in this game here. 4 elims now. Things are really starting to get interesting for NA East. Avery says, come down. Let's go to the low ground and wait for him to start taking the lead here. Now, usually we call Commandment the Mr. Clutch, and Commandment says, trust in me. I have this high ground on lock. Meet me at the top.
Yep, for one of the most insane end game finishes for the FNCS Chapter 3 Season 3 Championship. They're looking to do it here again in this game as Malabukan by himself. He ends up into the box, takes another player out, a huge Siphon and refresh to come through just in the nick of time. That was Ed from Brazil who went down, but he's doing a good job. Malabuka immediately beelining to the front side of zone.
And back to Pink here. Look at Pink's perspective. He's on that low with 7 elims. He has not stopped picking up. Malabuka continues to fight though. Ustree's gonna fall there, and a quick elim. Someone's behind him though. Now he turns around, and it's just enemy territory everywhere. Which way are you gonna go, son? That's the zone. Larson and Smite are still alive. This is where they do the most work, but no, it's not enough. They get wiped up and taken out.
Shot missed. Duke clicks, take advantage in the blink of an eye. Another end game. They're trying to move up to the top leaderboards as Thomas HD goes down. Trippin feeling the pressure as a solo here. Changing elevation. That was a huge play because look how many teams are stuck down low towards the low ground, but now he has to meet him down there as Commandment Avery begin to put on the pressure. Malabuka, 4 eliminations as a solo, 6 as a team. The damage continues, and he's putting on a show.
He doesn't stop. Down goes Ripsy. 5 elims. Can he get another? No, it's not enough. Trippin fights back. He's got it in him. And now, look at this. Behind the walls, BL and Edgy from the Storm. BL is still in this. It's Seti who's representing on this low ground. Another huge, consistent game for Seti is everything here.
There's 5 duos left, and about maybe 3 of them are full duos right now, and Savage loses another one. He's a solo. He's trying to take down the NA West team. He takes down Yuumi. Huge Siphon coming through. Mr. Savage does it again and gets into the top 4.
You have to love the move in here.
Oh my God!
Another one. He does not stop. Seti might just be next. Savage is on fire. Let's see it. High ground is still NA East. 1v1v2. Commandment and Avery has everything working for them as Savage is looking to do so much work. But Seti says, hold up, I could find a chance here. He needs to pick and choose this wisely. Do you go for 2 elims on the low ground or a chance at first? And down goes Savage. Seti knows better, and it's a great game for Commandment and Avery.
A huge victory royale and a huge boost for the NA East champions of Chapter 3 Season 3. Commandment and Avery switched up their games after halftime, and it pays off big.
And that's why you have to love that little moment when the players get to hit the drawing board. Look at that smile on Commandment. You love to see it as they have managed to put up a huge win and represent. And again, the story goes now. 2 for EU, 2 wins for NA East. It's just back and forth, showing us how close the competition really is.
And you're seeing the polar opposite of what happens to some of these teams.
At the end, you have to step up. You have to perform. And we've seen so many great performances already, especially when it comes down to this Becoming Legends duo of Tammy and Seti. Ways for them to represent not only for Poland, but the organization. I know my boy Reno is proud sitting back right now as these players are competing at the best of their capabilities. But once again, this northern bus shows us there's going to be trouble for Savage and iDrop here, or Baka and On1.
Yeah, I want to see Baka and On1 kind of really either do one of 2 things. First, or just kind of get what they got out of their loot and try to get out, because right now, it just seemingly time and time again, Mr. Savage and iDrop have that high ground, but waste no time. Muzz and Looter getting busy, putting damage onto Larson before he can even touch the ground. Baka does it! He does it over towards Chrome Jam. He gets the double and takes down Mr. Savage and iDrop.
Man, oh man, there are big stories developing now. Green Gables will have a fight soon here. Looter and Muzz have a chance at redemption, but the story has been told for the Chrome Jam Junction. We get to close that book out for now. Meanwhile, don't forget, Kondo has the battles there too. Let's take a look here. This time they go for high ground. He beats them to the drop. Whoa! Best Savage turns and burns on iDrop. What an incredible 2v1 representing for NA West. You didn't think it was possible, but they're putting it up. That's 2 for 2.
And another action going down very early yet again. Cloudy Condos, we haven't seen too much of it right out of the gates, but Chapix is down. Aqua was able to get the knock, and they're hunting. They're hunting for Tayson right now.
Let's see it. Cloudy Condos is a tough spot to fight, especially at the southern area. The southern area is more often taken by a singular team of Reason and Aqua, but Malibuca and Merstache got a little lucky here as Tayson tries to steal in and sneak away some loot. But you see the knock body there. No save just yet. They're going to leave him behind. They're baiting it. They want Tayson to try to go for Chapix here. Aqua gets punished, though. And now, little lesson learned, he slows down.
This is fabulous for Malibuca and Merstache, though, because now they have options. They can loot up. They can get the resources, everything that they want, and more as Aqua gets knocked, but Tayson gets taken out. Chapix and Tayson are the second team. EU are the only 2 teams down out of this game so far, but if you look at the leaderboard, Seti and Cammy sitting strong in first, Thomas and Triffin close by, but now Malibuca and Merstache, knowing that fight just ended, they can either go right away and try to clean it up, or they can continue doing what they're doing, loot up and try to get out, but we know how aggressive this team is going to be, and I think it's going to be the first choice.
Let's see it. There's still a chance. There's still time left in the ticker here, but things are not looking too hot. Let's jump on over to Larson and Smite. Larson and Smite, Grim Gables. This is now, again, the second time we get to catch it real early where they have this slight advantage. The last time it was Looter who fell first and then left it all up to Muzz. It's looking like this might be the same story once again. Looter and Muzz notably not that successful in early game battles versus Larson and Smite as a comparison who have such better odds just historically. And so far it's been just like that.
Yeah, that was a huge shot landed by Muzz, but in that 2v1 situation, it's easy to kind of stabilize yourself, heal up, and now Muzz is just trying to get out. He's trying to survive, and it's going to be up to Larson and Smite to kind of let him. Do you let him survive? You continue to chase, and right now, they are hot on his heels. They don't want to let these 2 points. They don't want to let that refresh. They don't want to let this elimination slip through, and right now, it is not, but that was an explosive ending. That almost makes magic happen.
Smite says, you want a show? I'll give you a show. Hold this pickaxe. And down goes Muzz. What a way to really assert yourself here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Vico and Marine push up on retake and Novice here inside the box. Vico with the quick finish and then steps over to the side. He 2v1s at the reality tree as well. And oh, the punishment there, that's tough, but it happens.
Yep, the fights, they continue all around. Pink and Anas, they're trying to do it yet again, but it's not Clicks, it's not Dukes, it's Peterbot and Jamper this time around.
What are they doing
And
here?
they're ready to fight. They're ready to take it to them. And this is what happens when teams go the last couple of games struggling to storm surge on an uncontested drop. They're trying to get active. They're trying to find what damage they can gather. And for Peterbot and Jamper, it does look like they bit off a little bit more than they could chew because Pink and Anas have every single advantageous position right now.
Yeah, but Peterbot, Jamper already picking up big end games. They know how to navigate these early game situations, and more importantly, Peterbot is just gross when it comes down to head-to-heads. That is not a player you can sleep on by any means, and Jamper is a veteran. He does not get the credit he deserves. He has put in so much work for years now on the NA East region, and he always seems to fly under that radar. What more can do? And this is a respectable disengage, right? They come on in and say, oh, look, these guys are healthy. I don't know where's Clicks and Duke maybe, you know, let's get out of here.
Yep, and now you can see Rob, Bob, Kabam, and Wax trying to bring it over towards Chimp and Scram, towards the outskirts, and another team looming in the distance. That's Peppo and Runa, and another team coming from the Lighthouse. That could be Pamsto and Fast. Who knows? Either way, we're going to have a house party in a couple moments.
Let's see it, the breakdown, though. Looking for the chop here. It's held on by nothing, and now it starts toppling over, but there are players in the distance here making it tough for them, ruining their plans. But down come Chimp and Scram. So, okay, there is a little development here. They do get to reset. Blind shots into the bush. Robobs is like, hold my mini shield. Let me show you what I can do. And he hits some huge tags there. Peppo and Runa, though, are looking at Chimp right now, and oh, they open fire, but no tags there.
Yeah, and you can kind of see Chimp and Scram. Chimp, you're talking about one of the most consistent players on the NA East region. He knows exactly what to do in a lot of these different situations. He's just trying to get out. He realized so many teams are here, so many teams are trying to disrupt and kind of put their hand into the mix, and that's not something they want to be a part of. But that piece control and the peaks, the shots on the defensive end are huge for Chimp and Scram, because now that put that fear into Peppa and Runa. Do we continue to fight this off? Do we continue to lose health? As it looks like they're even trying to keep their distance.
Yeah, Chimp doing an excellent job defending here, but you know, a refresh would be even better in this instance, but the pressure comes in, he loses his shield, and they are starting to run out of gas here. Robob and Wox walk up to the wall. They say, hey, Chimp, we thought we forgot about you. But no, too much pressure from Runa and Peppo, and they leave the damage to them. And they go ahead and take this as a small W. The Scram really left to defend himself here, and he's doing an excellent job.
This is going to be interesting right now, because everybody tried to disengage in a moment. But at the same time, they're so close together. There's only so much you can do. But Runa, he takes a huge amount of damage. They got to figure out a way to stabilize right here. But Chimp and Scram, they know so many teams are around. They don't want to bite off more than they can chew. They don't want to put themselves in a position they might later regret, as the shots are still coming in. Scram goes down. Chimp under siege. He's trying to figure out a way to survive. He has no builds left to his name. Robop Kebab as well. Every single one of these players are now going to be stuck in zone.
This is crazy. Runa and Peppo start to fight back. They have the shield chug there, and it's going to allow them to go ahead and heal back up. And now they run in to the zone, hunting for Robot. Peppo's like, no, I want this fight. Robot plays the low ground. Runa comes to support, and all of a sudden he is trapped like a mouse chasing cheese, and it might just be all over here. 10 HP, moments are ticking. Runa's down, he's hurt, but Wox falls first, and Peppo gets the first elimination there for his duo.
1 HP for Runa.
Whoa.
He got the med miss to stay alive. Okay, there's another rift there. I was going to say, I thought they were going to get the rift in time, but there's another rift there. Not too much to worry about for them. But every one of those teams that were fighting there that might not be the most healthiest are still going to have to go through Pamstu and Fetch. But on board for Lucy and Hijo, they're feeling good. They got themselves a spot in the zone.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a perfect time to catch up with Vivid with a mid-game analysis.
Guys, the action is popping off so much so that we missed the fight over here at Chrome Crossroads. Alex and Bailey haven't had the best of starts today, but game 5 here, they find these 2 early eliminations, and we know that they love to play the higher ground. We want to show you guys these reactions. They're so happy to find this as well. The dances come out. We'll have to see what type of momentum this uses for them.
And now we jump over with PH, Zin, and Kitos. We're sitting up on high ground, you know, hands off the desk, relaxing right now, just soaking in what an exceptional day it has been for them. They have played so well, and the zone is now going their way. So for the first time, we have this zone pulling far northwest. This is the backyard of King, Ed, Miram, of course, and Zagu here. Excellent players up top.
This could be actually a recipe for success for the Asian powerhouse, the Japanese team, to kind of take a big game and take up that first place spot right back. They're right now in center zone. They have the highest elevation in the lobby, and a couple teams all around in case Storm Surge does become a problem. As Commandment and Avery over still towards Rave Cave. They have Launchpad to use. They have enough rotation. So they're going to be one of the last teams to leave the spot altogether.
And again, just excellent. Commandment and Avery coming off of Victory Royale, zone pulling their way. This is a perfect recipe to take that momentum and bring it on home. So we are watching several teams now literally catch a little bit of that favor in the feed. Hellfire finds Bugha, and down he goes. Trouble in Chonkers down south. That's that late zone rotate, and that is what happens when the zone pulls far north. You could do your little dead side western rotates, but at the end of the day, there are players waiting there too. It's just textbook reads.
Oh, I saw on the feed there just a few seconds ago, Queasy and Vino, they were able to get a knock on to, I think it was Miram or Zagu there for a moment. Are they going to be able to kind of run up and clean it up? I think they got the elimination altogether.
Now keep in mind, Marine coming into that last game, they were in first and second tie beating, and they have fallen to fifth. So this is a huge opportunity here.
So you take it into your own hands, take full control of that one. And you can see he was just out of position. You cannot be out of position in a lobby like this. That is going to be a decision you regret for the rest of your life. But Miram, we see Zagu pick up a ton of points as a solo last game. Now it's Miram's turn to return the favor.
And see what he does here. He recognizes
recognizes, hey, wait a second. That's scary. Vino and Queasy might know I am the solo. I think I've been outed. Let me defend myself to the west and put all of my focus on Vino and Queasy so they do not sneak up. Excellent plays right there. Just smart play. We're seeing what Asia is capable of. Meanwhile, Seti, Cammy, inside the Storm. This is their home territory. Dead center, more or less on the split. And now they get to hit that rotate.
PHN and Kitos from Brazil. We talked about them, 186 below the damage threshold, but they're a team that can pop off at a moment's notice. They have the most eliminations on players in the top 10 on 6. Look at that stat, flies up right when I'm going to read it right there. But the 189 below the damage threshold, that is so concerning for me, but it looks like Vincent and Arthur are closing the distance. They might be below as well. This is between two teams, two powerhouses trying to land big shots. PHN loses his teammate, 2v1 situation. Arthur and Nixon trying to get into the box.
This is the first time we see PHN lose his teammate this early in the game. This is a huge development for him. And notice the problem is he didn't quite get to the zone early enough, and Z, Andy, and Joe capitalized on that solo opportunity, and PHN falls. And now they have a chance to fall down the standings here quite substantially. This is really beginning to open up and become much more interesting. And let's not forget, 5th place again is Mareem, left by himself as well. So this is the second game now too where the Japan duo is struggling here.
Yeah, and you can see outside of zone, 270 above damage threshold, and this is exactly the plays that you have to make, especially on a team that's looming into the distance. Basil in a 1v2 situation, he tries to peek and take a shot, but 2 prime shotguns are better than 1. They take him down in a blink of an eye. Baka trying to carry that momentum from the early game, but only 62 above the damage threshold. That's something that is looming in the back of their mind, and they haven't even left Chrome Jam Junction all game long.
That is true. And they have King and Ed, some of the regional dangerous fighters right there. We saw what Ed can do. He took out 2 of EU's finest by himself inside the Storm while being pressured. Snacky returns a huge favor onto Duke there, so down he goes as Clix managed to find the trade too. So for them, it's still a tough situation, an even worse story unfolding here as Merstash and Malibuke are being lobby focused by Clix on the rotate now. So all around, tough spot to be in here. Merstash barely holds on and survives in, so no knock there. That could be the difference maker.
Thomas got 2 on the Hen and Vortex, not just 1. You see Babs trying to reunite with Snacky. Malibuke and Merstash also in the distance. For them, that shield keg was absolutely needed, especially since they're only 67 above the damage threshold.
Oh, but I was just going to say, soon we might have to turn our focus to Peppo and Runa. They find Clix right above Snacky and through. Cammy and Seti put the shield bubble on the boat, and they are gone with a clean rotate right up the river. That is just a 500-head play. Look at the play right here. We absolutely love to see these crazy strategies play out, and there's a reason they are up at the top.
This is just outside of the box thinking at its finest. That is the freest rotation I think we'll see all weekend long. And they're only 85 below the damage threshold. That's not much at all.
No, they're below. They don't have heals. This is a very tough spot to be in for Cammy and Seti as they have a true chance to once again break away with a big lead here. But they are, fighting with one hand tied behind their back.
Peterbot, shields get dropped. Clown finally goes down. Huge siphon for Peterbot. Like I just said, his shield just got dropped. Now you're looking at a short pad from Repsguard trying to make it into zone. As soon as Peterbot hears that, he might try to recycle it, but nobody wants to leave this one just yet. 195 above. Peterbot ready for any challenge. Repsguard goes up and over around each other, and it does look like this might be the moment. They got blessed. Now they're going to try and disengage.
Now, when it comes down to N8 East players that know how to fight, Peterbot is one of the few that represent by doing the work, not the talking. He is one of our most leading elimination leaders on the NA East region in general. So for Repsguard to make the rotate out is an excellent decision there, but he is met with Pantsu and Fatch firing directly inside. But we jump on over to Cammy and Seti. The story continues here. They need a tag. They need more than that. Kanata opens the box. They look to fire back. Nothing comes out of it. And now they say, hey, we got to get to these boxes. Maybe it's more important. Maybe it'll be easier to box fight. But Cammy falls to Bad Sniper. And it's up to Seti to do it all. Can he get pretty much a full elim worth of damage here? Oh, no.
I didn't mean to curse him. Luckily for him, no more. He instantly goes down. I was going to talk about the launch pads and push game to shove, but now Joe and Andy found 2 more launch pads and so much room to work with as Malibuca and Merstache. 2 eliminations. No shield to work with. I'd say not much, but none at all to work with as Fash gets one on the swag as well. Malibuca and Merstache, they are in the most congested side of the map right now. They're going to need everything they got to try to stay alive, other than that launch pad. But with no shields on Merstache, that could be a risky play.
And what's crazy, remember, Cammy and Seti falling. They were in first place, 11-point lead over Trippert and Thomas. Third place, PA, Jin, and Kitos. We already talked about them just being completely devastated there. And here's the updated standing. Thomas, HD, and Trippert have a chance to catch up. Smite and Larson, Vino and Queasy as well. This is such a competitive FNCS Invitational if we've ever seen one, especially after just 4 games, and now the 5th is unfolding before our eyes.
Top of the leaderboard, stacked like pancakes in a Waffle House right now. It's Thomas and Trippert, 2 eliminations at the edge of zone. And right now, there's so many teams on the outskirts. They can continue to peek and just put so much pressure on the lobby before they figure out what's next. The choices are definitely there. You see Acorn and Edgy, they're sitting clean. They found themselves a nice spot. Belusi and Hydro as well. Not too many teams on this side of the map, and this is what we would call the slower side, to where you don't have too much to worry about, especially if you're Acorn and Edgy and you're 676 above the damage threshold. That allows you that flexibility, that allows you options to pick and choose. Do you want to go ahead and put pressure on another team? Do you want to rotate around the map? The choice is now theirs. But a team that might not have those same choices is Malibuca and Merstache. They're only 105 above. We talked about the lack of resources that they have. So they're going to have to figure out something here. And you know as well as I do, they're going to have to look for a siphon. They're going to have to look for a refresh. They're going to have to look for a team to catch off guard and really pounce on them.
Let's see if they can do just that. 87 damage. It's good, but it's not good enough. Potentially here, 6 players are the difference between this surge continuing to stay online and turning off. Here it is, 3 seconds before the reveal. They're going to take the fight against Alex and Bailey. Alex and Bailey are multi-FNCS champions of the OCE region. Merstache and Malibuca looking to step up to this huge challenge here. Gotta be careful though, this is what they love to do, and a great tag here. This is why Merstache and Malibuca are some of the best. The Chrome Shield comes down though, and that'll buy them some time.
And right now, Storm Surge taking out a lot of these teams. If you get your shields cracked, they will hear it and they will go. As Malibuca or Merstache, they know the position that they're in. It's all or nothing because you can't make it too much farther with the resources that you have. Alex goes down, or takes down Threat. Merstache and Malibuca, they're going to be the ones that get all the loot because of it. As Baka and Almond trying to stay alive, they're trying to protect what's theirs.
And they do just that. They get a little bit for their efforts, not much, but they're alive, and they've done some damage. They've defended the territory, and everyone backs up. Let's take a wider look here. Fadil has to give up the high ground. Everyone's making a rotate. Thomas, HD, and Trippert still a launch pad in the bag as they get to half and half out. This is excellent. Such an excellent position to be in. Switches over to hard material, and they fortify up and branch out. What? And play here just to even play for territory, to open up the domain right now.
Malibuca and Merstache met their demise. Both King and Hellfire get an elimination each, taking out one of EU's exciting teams is Queasy and Vino. Another exciting team coming in with all the momentum in the world, winning an EU Elite Cup, winning the NA East Elite Cup Finals back-to-back in the same day. If that's not what you call preparation, I don't know what is.
And they're showing us why they're up at the top right now. And they are taking advantage. A northwest zone is excellent for a team like Vino and Queasy. They find Anas down low. That's going to be their 4th elim. Pink does not stand a chance if they decide to focus together, but it's more important for them to maintain the position right now. And this zone's going far. It's going to cut back towards Acorn and Edgy side. Scented and Cold have more of a dominant rotate here, and this isn't all shaping out to be a great game.
Look at that mountain. They got to go down the hill and then back up the hill. This is literally going to be a roller coaster ride of an end game. And if you don't have a launch pad, if you don't have chrome splashes, I wish you best of luck.
Well, we do know if you do, Cold and Scented go ahead and put the chrome splashes to the use here, to the test, and they jump right over that bush and into it. It's going to be a great spot. Meanwhile, everyone else takes to the high ground. Heppo finds an elim, and Yumi is going to fall there too. He is the victim of the loot that we are watching get sniped up by Larson and Smite here.
You know, they called it though. They called it's going to start at the drop spot of Grim Gables. They take out Muzz and Looter and they keep things going. Repscar peaks at the right time. Finds the shots on the core. Another elimination going over. This could be a moment for him to remember for the rest of his days if he can continue to clutch up big like that. And Joe and Zandy trying to be the first team on the day to win 2 victory royales.
And Smite and Larson are still in the game as well. Vino and Queasy have the high ground. Queasy manages to crank his way on up, and that is what you call a well-executed launch pad play there to keep them in the run here, but there's still more points that they have to close out. Here goes Smite. He's going to go for the pad play. Zandy and Joe get to the front side of zone now. They rotate their way on out as well, and this is coming back off, way off the height. This is such a tough and just honestly difficult zone to play.
The Epic Games Fortnite roller coaster continues yet again. Down the mountain, up the mountain. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a loop-de-loop come through as Repguard's trying to catch one off guard, but it's he who gets caught off guard by Zandy.
And just like that, he is down and out. Trippin and Thomas HD, we get to get a little temperature check with them. They are on the mid-ground, right above Scented and Cold. Smite loses Larson on the rotate, and he is now left by himself. Just places away from 10th here. Can he hold on? Peppo does enough, but not enough to beat Vortexter. Here's Onwin and Baka. They have made such an excellent use of surviving their drop spot. Joe finds Noah. Down he goes, and Joe's hurt. 20 HP. This is not looking good.
Quick moving, quick thinking, trying to get out, but he gets caught at the tail end as Queasy and Vino. Zone after zone after zone. No matter where this roller coaster went, they stayed on top. Baka loses Onwin, but he takes down Fast. Back up against the wall. He gets 2. Baka gets 2. 7 eliminations for the NA West.
And he has shown you how good he is and why he deserves to be here, even when he is counted out. He is showing up, but hold up. Scented, Cold now, back in the mix here. They already have done one, but can they get another? But Grolls and Rifty are showing they finally have an end game, and they are making big do with it. There's a third elim. 30 points already earned in this round. Baka fights back, but Cold and Scented get to get all that sweet loot.
Towards the low ground, along with Thomas HD and Trippin. This one is going to get messy for everybody that's stuck down low. But for Vino and Queasy, they have the elevation. They have a huge advantage. Plenty of mats to work with. That's a recipe for success. But it's up to Cold and Scented and a few other teams to try to take down the high ground team.
And don't forget, Trippin and Thomas, who had a 10-point lead, is still here as well. Thomas HD wants more though. Down goes Grolls, and they are closing the gap. But he loses teammate. He's gonna fall. Top 3 now. Scented is still in the mix here, in the conversation, but no build. Big shot comes in from up top. And all of a sudden now, it is looking so dicey. Queasy is just waiting.
Waiting for that perfect opportunity. They have the high ground. They drop down low. The game is theirs after they take down Bevy. That is game number 5, sealed up by Vino and Queasy.
And the biggest game we've seen so far in terms of elims, coupled with a victory royale. Huge 11-piece pickup right there for Vino and Queasy. Now think back to that interview when they sat there. Vino very nonchalantly, hands behind his back. He said, "We are the best, undoubtedly."
As EU takes yet another game. And honestly, this was the hottest team coming in to the FNCS Invitational. NA East, EU wins. And in that reign as well, they won about like 5 games in a row, I think. That's impressive.
That is right. Vino and Queasy.
Always how you finish. All right, it's not always how you start, it's how you finish. And a lot of these teams, they can finish strong.
Well, listen up. Let's give it up one more time for Game 6 here for our players as we start to load onto this battle bus. Here we go.
Different bus path this time around. And a good chance for an off-spawn Cloudy Condos. 5 games, we didn't see too much. Or 4 games, we didn't see too much, but in that 5th game, that's when we saw a lot of activity. And it helped a team like Malibuca and Mustache, who wasn't necessarily in the fight. They got the surge, and they got out right away.
That's right. Well, listen up. As things start to get ready here and we settle in, looks like we're going to have to gear up this battle bus one more good time. And it wouldn't be a fun event if we didn't just give you a little bit more airtime from some of our favorite players while we were at it. So give us a moment here. Take a look at the focus of our players. Jacob, we have ourselves still one more game left today.
Yeah, and just take note, that victory royale there from Queasy was his 8th straight finals with a VR. That is impressive. That means Queasy and VRs go together in finals like peanut butter and jelly, spaghetti and meatballs. They are a duo, so you better watch out, Vino.
Not only that, Vino was talking about how NA East haven't shown up. I was looking at that top 10. I saw 3 NA East teams on that top 10 leaderboard. But not only that, they are 3 contested NA East teams showing up. So there really has been some crazy performances and put-ups. But let's go and send on over to the analyst desk. Let's just continue to gear this thing.
Thank you guys so much. Sorry about that. We're making sure all of our players are on that battle bus and ready to go. We cannot miss anyone on this pivotal game here in game number 6, the last one on the day. Now, if you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the FNCS Invitational. You've missed a lot, but hey, we're happy you're here now. And there's a lot to talk about, starting with Queasy and Vino. These guys have been absolutely running the EU region as of late. And now, after winning that last game, 11 eliminations, they are sitting pretty in first place.
I mean, they were the first duo to break the double-digit elim record at this tournament, right? Previously being 8 eliminations, but now 11 for this duo. I mean, they're playing very well.
Vino. Queasy and Vino, incredible. Well, let's talk about Vino, right?
Yes.
How good is this guy, right? We got 17 eliminations on the day today. That is the most of any individual player, and consistently, FNCS final after FNCS final, this guy is doing the most damage in the lobby. He is an incredible fragger. We can see it. 5,932 damage dealt. That's a lot of damage that he's outputting, and he's really helping. We saw it in that previous game. We saw the refreshes. He's helping them out so much, and when you have a high ground playstyle like they do, he's really pretty much it.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of the moments, right, where, again, it's like Vino just says, oh, Queasy, you need me to go eliminate a threat? Yeah, man, I'm down. Like, let me just hop down there, get a bunch of refreshes, and bring all the stuff back, and then we're ready to go again. But I think to take forward the battle bus.
That time that you were talking about for preparation has run out. Everybody now taking their position on the map. We've seen wonders over towards Chrome Jam Junction. We've seen so many fights go down towards Fort Jonesy as well, but honestly, interesting enough, neither of them involve these 2 teams going at it off spawn.
Not only that, the coast has 2 teams as well. So there's so much going on in this area, and we've seen it play out a few times now, round after round, but this is the first take at Clips and Duke, not necessarily being right on top of their opponents, taking it off there. They've given each other some space, and this is, honestly, last game vibes are here. It just makes sense. Everyone wants to take it slow and try to play this one out.
Yeah, that's respect to them too, because they know the position that each of them are in. You know what I mean? If you go ahead and take that fight and it doesn't go well for either one of you, that's kind of throwing away that game. So they want to split the loot and try to get more on their path to the center of the zone. But just like very many games before, we're going to have a little bit of a northern zone, which looks like it bode well for Queasy and Vino yet again.
Can you believe Smite and Larson are in 3rd place, being contested at the Grim Gables? What a way to play some Fortnite today for them. It looked like it was all over when you viewed the paper, you crunched the numbers, but it really turned all that lemon into lemonade.
Yeah, I believe they lost game number 1, but I think that was the game 1 jitters of an international stage. The first in-person Fortnite event in quite a long time. They shake those off, and they're rising to the occasion. NA East, best hope right now to close out day number 1 with a top spot. You can see Vico over towards Reality Tree. Lost Bride pretty early, and that was Retake and Novice who also land over here.
Hey, listen, I'm from the Bronx. I know all about being scrappy. Vico and Moran are clawing their way out of the mud here, officially breaking back into top 20 with those 2 elims right there. That's a big point swing for them. It's going to mean all the difference. What's wild about these 2-day formats is anything can happen right now. We have seen teams just in this bubble area range jump all the way back up. You have to stay consistent. Larson and Smite get defended off of their drop effectively. They're pushed out by Mother.
Die moet nog
So
naar
that fight will
school.
continue. We jump on over to Savage and I drop.
Zie je afsluiten en dan je telefoon hier, ja?
Not that 50-50 we saw before. This one's going to be a little bit prolonged, and I think that kind of sits a little bit better for iDrop and Mr. Savage simply because iDrop knows this POI like the back of his hand. He knows exactly where to get the loot. He knows where a lot of the chests are. He knows every single thing. And he also knows any pathing in order to disengage in a lot of these fights. But it does look like the TSM duo, Epic Whale, strikes first, taking down Scented.
That's a big elimination right there, as well as Scented and Cold are one of the few NA East teams inside of that top 10. And for them to fall to the hands of Epic Whale just around the Tilted Towers is definitely not a part of the plan. Marine finds Falconer in the feed there, but Peterbot and Jamper looking to continue their battle here. We talked about these contested coastal battles, and now we get to see it unfold for the first time from the beginning.
Going up against Jace and Basil. So this is going to be an interesting one because sooner or later you cannot continue to go down. The chest is down there, and that's where Basil's at, and he's actually just trying to get out. He's trying to escape. You already know that he lost his teammate, trying to do wonders as a solo and finish off the day strong, because that's the thing. FNCS NA East Chapter 3 Season 3. After day 1, Commandment and Avery were in 9th place. Day number 2, they had the comeback for the age to take the top spot as Peterbot takes the elimination, but flies high to the sky, just a little too high. The shots are coming in. He's finally able to land on his 2 feet and try to stabilize.
That's what Peterbot is known for. On1 and Baka, though, fight back here. The last time they won their drop, they turned that into a monstrous endgame, and now they're clawing back in. Savage already down. iDrop.
Can they do it? Baka
in the mix here. Actually, Savage is on the run right now.
Oh, he's going to be able to get out alive, but do On1 and Baka want to chase him. There's so many other teams in the mix as well, including Brazil's very own King and Ed, where they're at in the leaderboard right now. They want to start getting aggressive. They want to take the game into their own hands.
Ed and King here, trying to do something big. We haven't quite seen them put up the numbers on show yet. You can see right there, King attempts to hit some shots, but does fall slightly short. And now options in front of him. Does he go for the duo below? But no, instead he's going to go and hunt down the solo. This is by far the better play, but the reboot is starting to come out from Mr. Savage. Will he get iDrop in time? King arrives just there to maybe play spoiler.
But again, this fight over towards Cloudy, it's those same 2 teams, while Malibuca and Mustache are always trying to find an angle so that way they can get the damage they need for Storm Surge and try to get out alive. And I think Ed even found Peppo somewhere, but no, they're actually chasing down Mr. Savage, and they're going to clean that one up. That is huge.
And King get their first 2 eliminations onto Mr. Savage and iDrop here in game number 6. Huge deal for him right there. And lucky for us, we are hot on the replay. Take a look there, out the sky. Ed wastes no time. He says, King, you might have missed some shots before, but I got your back.
That was a huge outside-of-the-box play. They could have easily pushed Mr. Savage, got the elimination, and got 2 points. Done. Over with. Easy. They allowed Mr. Savage to get the reboot off, got the elimination on iDrop, got the elimination onto Mr. Savage, and got 4 points instead of 2.
That's right. Way to play big there. They need it.
Big brain
now,
play.
Back to Larson and Smite. They could have left this battle, but they've won so many times already. They decide, hey, let's stick around, let's fight Muzz and Looter. Ooh, a big 86 on Looter as he tries to go on up. Smite was waiting with the side angle there. Larson now has just enough time to get back with Smite. They're going to be trading minis here. As you saw, Larson's inventory was definitely short. Here it is, that little exchange, the material count too.
And honestly, if you're Smite and Larson, though, winning every single one of these fights except for game number 1, you have no reason to leave. It's up to Muzz and Looter to try to change up their plan while you have a hot Larson and Smite on their heels. Zagu is going one-on-one with Hellfire. This is for a huge finish for Zagu because right now they skid just a little bit down low on the leaderboard, more than they would like.
And what's crazy about this is how the region plays. This is how Asia gets down. They will W key. They play aggressive, they play fast Fortnite. And although it has been a day of performance and end games for Zagu and Marine. This is where he does best. Put him in a one-on-one, put him in a head-to-head, and look at how quick he is able to capitalize. No, shots come in from the distance. It's not looking good. He's going to have to fall down here. He does have some white heels, but that will kill all the momentum, unfortunately. It's Commandment and Avery with a dual angle here.
And you can see where are this strategy, landing over towards Rave Cave. They're trying to go to the slower side of zone. They're trying to go as far north as possible, but they're going to go east first before they make that happen, trying to clean up a quick elimination, or what they think could be a quick one at that, but the shots continue to come in. Storm doing work as well. It's only a matter of time as Hellfire is going to be able to clean that one up.
Hellfire slides in and down goes Japan's best there. Zagu and Marine sent back to the lobby, back to the drawing board to rethink for day number 2 of the FNCS Invitational. That's how quickly things can change.
Yeah, Hen was already down. Now they're just trying to find the second half of that duo. Joe and Zandy, one of 5 teams to get a VR on the day. But Vico somehow took down Avery. They were waiting. They were trying to hunt down the team, and it was them who ended up getting hunted. But Joe and Zandy, they don't want to let this team out of their sight. They have at least 1 elimination against players from 6 different regions. That's the most of any duo, and that goes to show how adaptable they truly are.
That is right. Vortex is a solo. As we touched on, Hen is out the lobby. You can see the look of focus on his face here. He recognizes, oh, big read there. He finds a medkit right in the nick of time. He should get it off with about 2 HP left. That's going to be a huge save for him. Meanwhile, Sensen and Code now making their move. Like we said before, they have been somewhat contested, right? Their draw spot. Maybe not going head-to-head against Pars and Raze there, but possibly trading out some loot. You can see it kind of coming into effect here as the loadout's very much not quite where you want it to be.
And that's Acorn and Edgy sitting on top of the Glimpse, being that nuisance as Colden sent it. They have to rotate right back in the way they came from. See if we can make it happen. They're actually taking some elevation right now. This could be huge. Oh.
Very interesting for them to go up to high ground here. This is such a risk, right? But of course, we never really know. They want some of that loot. Look at that. They get to the boat. They steal some leftover loot. That's going to be a huge situation here. Meanwhile, Muzz and Looter get to see a replay here. Remember, this is up against Smite and Larson, and Muzz turns this around. 3rd place, Smite and Larson now effectively dropped.
For them, though, you got to give them credit. 128 points on the day. They've done wonders. And now they get to sit back, relax, collect their thoughts, and plan for day number 2 while everybody else is kind of going through this minefield of chaos, which is game number 6. And like I said, from game number 1, where you have 95 players alive when Storm Surge activated, the lobby is now feeling themselves out. They're feeling a little bit more comfortable to try to attack in these moments. Tripper to Thomas sitting on top of Blimp, just trying to get the Storm Surge, so that way, when they do find another rotation, eventually, it's going to be their focus, where they don't have to go ahead and hunt the damage. They can go ahead and do exactly what they want, when they want.
Let's take a look at Yumi and Cool here on the move. Some of our greats from NA West right now, they have really represented today.
They did.
They have found their moments.
I'm proud.
They've caught their highlights.
Candace probably proud of the crowd, too.
Oh, yeah.
Colden Senton now changing their rotation yet again. Don't want to go to Acorn and Edgy anymore. They got the heals that they wanted out of the vault, and now they're trying to find another way around. And for them, they need scraps. They are in shambles right now, and there's another team right in front of them. They spotted them out, and that would have been a great sneak attempt coming out from Senton and Cole, but now they have to think of plan B.
It's crazy. Cole gets caught out by Thomas HD. Thomas HD, Mr. 6,000 damage coming into game 6 here and adding to the chart. And it's looking very, very grim now.
Yeah, the other NA East team in there. You got the Acorn and Edgy, who came into this game in 8th place, but in the distance. Senton sees Fabs and Snack. He sees Joe and Z-Andy trying to get his Storm Surge damage up while being in the storm without any heals, but luckily enough, his escape plan, you can already see it. It is going to be that launch pad.
He's playing a very dangerous game here. He's already been tagged for whites there. There it is. He doubles back now, protects himself as well. There's a med kit.
Okay.
He knew that.
Try to get Senton's card, likely.
There it is. Okay. Time to med off. He will have enough time. Will he play for the reboot is the true question. We'll find out soon. On the other side, Zeet and KBR are still alive right now. 39 above. They're looking pretty solid. Seti finds Jamper in the feed. Peterbot goes down too. So that's had to be an Eastern edge zone rotate that just did not go their way.
Yeah, and that south side of the zone right now is just going to become so congested. You're going to have to figure out another way to try to rotate around as Chicho's trying to find some damage. Barely gets above the damage threshold. Gets a knock on the Rapid in the distance as well. And you see some other shots coming through. They know that that player is under pressure. Now the lobby is now taking hands to try to take him out altogether. Bevies is now joining the fray along with Vortexers as well. Andalix has his back up against the wall. He's trying to survive. And Alex and Bailey are also rotating in. It's going to be such a hard way for him to try to survive.
This is such a tough spot to be in right now as it's all going down. Our 10th plate, PH Sin, looks like he falls in the feed there too. It's looking extremely desperate now for Brazil right now in this last game. Here's Bugha on the other side of Vaness and Pink's wall. They're going to heal up. Eyes on Mira and Bugha, but no, they want to get out of here. This is a little too dicey for them now. Lopez going to get them right to the safe zone. Pretty decent. It's a great spot to be in right now. They're okay on the surge, but they could use a refresher here. Plenty of options up to be served as well. Hellfire looks like he found Avery. Hellfire was a solo in the zone way north as Commandment and Avery were pointing inwards. And look, Avery fully finished there. The surge possibly finishing the deal.
Yeah, that's not good. You can kind of see why they rotated out of Rave Cave, trying to third-party some of those fights, but they ended up getting snuck on, which probably turned their entire story around as Bugha and Miro trying to get in towards the zone. Focus of the lobby begins. Can Bugha try to survive? 43 HP and a dream. Miro's there to try to alleviate some of the pressure, and it does look like it's going to stop.
That was tough. Very, very close right there. Usually when that happens, it's all over, but luckily the teams decided, nah, it's the last game. I can't burn all my resources if I cannot pick up the loot, so one slows down for Tayson Chapix. They are very much comfortable right now. No pressure on them, but there's a lot of players in this vicinity here. Movement, little scarce.
And out of Macwood over there, Pars and Rays surviving as well. Cammy and Seti trying to take that top spot back. Here's the analysts. They're having great games, and then they're kind of having a little slip-ups here and there. But luckily for them, this is day number one. As long as you keep it competitive, you'll be in the mix. And look at our top four. Top four is all EU right now, Monster.
That is right. 21 points for Cammy and Seti to catch up to Vino and Queasy. But that top three is just European territory right now. Vino, Queasy, Thomas HD, Trippern, and of course Cammy and Seti all fighting for that top three currently. It's what you expect. We've seen a lot of our community folk really put those three up in the standings and wait for them not to let down the fans, right?
Malabuka Mustache might be low on Storm Surge. Yet again, being one of the three teams over towards Cloudy Condos. Nobody really going at it off of spawn, but a team that doesn't have much to worry about. You saw them high at the top of the blip, Acorn and Edgy, almost 500 above. They're just picking and choosing their battles, trying to figure out what the right play is going to be.
And it does make you wonder, although Malabuka and Mustache are contested, being below the surges means that, hey, that first game was a wake-up call. We can't just go battle. Aqua and crew will just come in third party. But look at this. Thatch finds Malabuka there. That's a huge one. And now we get to see Ed and FaZe King's perspective here. King from Argentina, Ed from Brazil. Right here, right now, two Elims already potentially going head-to-head against On1 in Baka. The young duos from NA West. No, the peak, the punishment. Down goes Baka.
Is this going to be able to get it, though? It doesn't look like in the minimap that they're going over. So, yeah, you are correct. He is going to get a second chance at life as On1 is placed in the top 10 in every FNCS final he has played in. Trying to put NA West on his back along with Yumi and Cool, Babs and Snacky. So many top competitors in this tournament still, and this is only day number one.
Time to deal. 120 below, making 60 now. They do need a little bit more damage. It's going to continue to fluctuate. Vico finds Baka, down goes On1 as well. Vico just cleans that up. Meanwhile, Kanata and Macwood, they started off so hot. And now all of a sudden they are in a world of trouble here, surrounded by some of Europe's most dangerous here on this south side of the zone, but hey, they have time. They have plenty to work with here. He shouldn't get too sketchy just yet. If they can keep a low profile for a while, they'll survive to the next moving zone or the half-in, half-out reveal. You have to look at third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh are down, fifth is down.
Hey, that's a blessing for some and a curse for others. For the teams from 8th and below, this is their chance to really close the gap in the final game.
That's all of NA East out in Game 6.
That hurts just a little bit. Just a little bit, but still got Acorn and Edgy still alive. Catching one on to Joe. Janice is going to be left as a solo. As Video just get knocked in that moment. That's Tayson, that's Chapix that are hot on the heels. But pressure is coming from all sides for a lot of these teams. Even Macwood and Kanata are trying to put some shots on to Tayson and Chapix. You see Janice trying to break through. He is that solo that we were looking at. Trying to survive. Video finally goes down. Janice still knocking on the door. Storm Surge taking him down, but Tayson gets the last laugh.
And in the end, it's going to mean 4 eliminations for Tayson and Chapix. And they absolutely needed it. They were slipping so far behind, well outside that top 20 bubble. Way to make a hero's effort push in Game 6 to set yourself up for a good day too, but they still have a long road in front of them. They have to close out this round. The zone is going to pull far northeast. It's on a little piece of a zone, so if you have that mountaintop just right there, you're going to be in a sound and strong position for Edgy and Acorn. They'd be some of the last to jump on over, and we said we want to see Epic Whale and Reed. They're just above sitting down, so this might be their game. But first, Vino and Queasy have to show us why they're in the lead.
They didn't really have to do anything here. Look at the blue right now. They're on the edge of zone. They have some high ground. All these players flying through the sky. Easy shots. You're just like serving it up on a silver platter for a team that has been playing this good. But only 7 damage below the threshold.
And let me tell you something. This is not bad for a team that lands north and then has this half-in, half-out pull north. It makes a big difference when you are already positioned there and this comes your way. Now they just have to worry about damage management and closing out this last game. But you can see Tripper and Thomas HD are there as well. They have that same story. They are very much close by. Here's our high ground kings, Reet and Epic Whale, the 6X, and of course Reet, a multi-FNCS winner himself. Going head-to-head against Refsguard right now. They're starting to crank up, but Reet does not want to give it up, not just yet. He jumps down. This is what he does best, is take those fights, but no, plays a little smarter. He has to play for the end game.
And I saw Pink and Anas go down to Pars. It's finally starting to heat up. Tayson gets another one. Kanata as well. Refguard as a solo stole Hideaway from the TSM duo. That is absolutely insane right now. But you got to take note of where they actually landed, though. They still landed at a high enough layer so they can take it back at a moment's notice.
Just need to evaluate the situation. No need to burn material this early. Smart play. It's the best play. Vino, but a huge tag there. Shield crack there. It's going to go and get him a little excited. But Acorn and Edgy now revealed themselves to his layer as well. He's not too happy about that one. You see him back up just a second there. Meanwhile, Refsguard on high ground by himself, just looking down here, enjoying the view. But 130 damage is what he needs. He gets 4 tags. That's great, but not enough. Here comes the big drop, and he hits it. Okay, he stays in the game.
Almost seeing his life flash before his eyes, just a few centimeters in the wrong direction. He goes down, he goes out, but Queasy and Vino are trying to go up. They're trying to take the game by storm, and they get it, Monster. They got the high ground for now.
But it's not for free. They do have a duo on their heels. Who is it? It's Red, but he is not going to be successful. Heels, who is it? It's Refsguard who try to fight for it, but he is not going to be successful. Thing that we know for sure, and that's amazing placement if you can ride this time around. High ground can get you one thing that we know for sure, and that's amazing placement if you can ride it out. When you're a solo like that, that was an excellent attempt. But now, back into the heat of things. Seti, Cammy, 2 Elims, another end game. And their biggest threat, Tripper and Thomas HD is alive. Acorn and Edgy, NA East's last hope potentially in this lobby, still in the run.
Saw threats go down to the bottom half of the map. That's Trulex and Chicho taken down. Kanata falls as well. Ed's gonna get one. Queasy Vino trying to go ahead and put themselves outward so they can continue that damage. Seeds to solo, stuck at the outside of zone, 4 floppers to work with. The Siphon comes through onto Ed. This is an opportunity for him to pick out placement points while being outside of the zone.
Not only that, Clix is still alive too, but here's Tayson. Tayson's gonna fall inside the storm now. It's up to Acorn and Edgy, making their way up the outskirts here. Look at the clean rotate here from Acorn. He is just exceptional, but we get to jump into Duke. 200 HP, now down to 72, make it less than that. It's not looking good. From 0 to hero, he's trying to claw his way into this. They find a player on the edge. No Elam there. Duke has to fight back, and down he goes, and it is all over. And once again, we might be seeing our first team who is setting up for a back-to-back.
Back-to-back, that is going to leave them with all the confidence in the world to end day 1 and go into day 2. They have 10 eliminations onto Fico from the low ground. He's trying to have a comeback for the ages to close out day number 1. Shots on the trip room, a huge amount of damage. He drops him down as well, but goes down altogether. Valiant effort by Fico.
It is a worst-case scenario for Thomas HD because his biggest threat is on high ground, but Reet is fighting back. Reet takes down Queasy on height. He is turning this around and trying to turn this into potentially a solo game. Meanwhile, Thomas finds Walk. Thomas still alive, and Reet falls there in the end. Look at Thomas holding the low ground. Chicho's right next to him. Trulix hurts him too, but Vino has the grip of height. Acorn waiting on the side. Out of builds, he's gonna have to come down too. It's all over. The gas tank is empty. Down he goes. And now, off to Seti.
It's Cammy and Seti, the only duo left, and they find another one. Vino trying to put Wonder 1v2 situation. What can he do here to take home the big prize and end with back-to-back victory royales to end the day? But a team looking to take first place back. Cammy and Seti, and they try to steal it away by getting that PR to end game 6.
And they get the first game. They get the last game of day 1. What a story for Cammy and Seti. Becoming legends must be so proud right now of these players. They put in the hard work, they put in the effort, and wait to watch it pay off.
That is huge for them because they're not like a lot of these other teams who are consistently fighting to get to the top of the leaderboard. They play their play style through and through from the drop spot all the way to the end game. They're one of the few teams, time and time again, that has their own spot. They call it the Cammy split, and it works out every single season.
And now they get to take that victory lap to center stage, where they will be greeted by Adam Savage for a quick update. And Adam, please tell me how they do it.
Right now, they're looking mighty fine. Give it up for Cammy and Seti! GG's, boys! 2 victory royales out of 6 games. A FNCS Invitational. That must feel amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
It's really amazing. Talk us through, you saw there that we had Queasy and Vino on the high ground. We saw Queasy went down, Vino was solo. When you saw that happen, was there an opportunity for you guys to get your way in and win that game?
Yeah, but we didn't want to take the high ground because we wanted to get more kills on low ground. That's why we stayed low. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In terms of today, the 6 games, has it played out as you both thought coming into this, or have things been very different?
Like, we dived 2 games to Surge, like, we planned everything differently, but it didn't went as we planned it.
We just adapted. I think we just adapted well, and going into tomorrow, we're going to be more confident and more prepared. So, yeah.
Talking of preparation for tomorrow, what do you do now? Do you go back and review VODs? Do you kind of work on strategy, or do you relax?
Like, I think relax and VOD review.
Tomorrow, a big day, 6 more games. Could Cammy and Seti go all the way and win FNCS Invitational?
Of course.
Of course they could. Give it up for Cammy and Seti! Your game 6 winners! Let's go back to Zeke and the gang. Jinquit.
I've made this joke